Yep, let's get into it. You're back into it. You're back into it. He's even liberal with our time. True. Truisms. Whatever, Twitch. It says I'm live. It says I'm live, but unstable. It says I'm live, but unstable. Stream too high? Okay, whatever. Screw Twitch. Twitch is stupid, dude. Twitch is stupid. I'll go live on Instagram. No one's gonna watch me on there. Okay, I'm live on Instagram. GG's. Real big deal right there. Go live on Twitter. Trump is terrible. Now. Okay, we're live on TikTok. Pretending to be people. Everyone's pretending. That's the secret of humanity. It's all sad. We're all pretending. Oh crap, what is that? Is it just me or is it not working? Nice, it disconnected for a second. That's beautiful. Alright, is it working again? Is it back? Is the short stream working again? I assume so. Who are some really annoying creators for videos? Oh yeah, I was gonna watch the one Glenn Greenwald video. Mike Johnson is so crazy. Alright, I'll do this one first. Why not? Don't take some calls. Okay, just checking on everything that's up right now. Okay, so YouTube Shorts is up. What's up? Review the Pisco debate? Maybe later. It's too long. I already watched a lot of it too. Who's Waffle Johnson? All good? Okay. Instagram good. TikTok good. Nice. Alright.
In Europe.
So Glenn Greenwald has a lot of opinions that are very anti-liberal. He's very pro-Russia and everything, I'm pretty sure. But he is right now going after Trump a little bit, which is nice to see.
In Europe to make sure America is treated fairly.
Joining us now with more is journalist Glenn Greenwald. So great to see you in studio, Glenn.
Great to be here.
Yeah, so that was a truly remarkable speech we saw from J.D. Vance this week.
It was remarkable because this has been a longstanding critique of U.S. European foreign policy, namely that everything we do is justified in the name of protecting and advancing democracy. That's how we hear, for example, our involvement in the war in Ukraine justified. Oh, we're defending democracy. That's what we do. And there's been a lie at the heart of that for decades, which is we partner with some of the most dictatorial regimes on the planet, Saudi Arabia and Egypt and others, where we prop up those dictatorships. But also the Europeans have often interfered in elections when they dislike the outcome, as has the United States.
Never mind, bro. Never mind. I thought he was going to say something bad about Trump a little bit. He's just going 100% Russian propaganda.
And at the same time, the United States and especially Europe are leading the way in censoring the internet. So this idea that we can posture as defenders of democracy, but we have to be honest with ourselves that that's not really what our institutions are intended to do.
Ask him about Vladimir Putin. He'll be like muzzled. Like, oh, I don't know about him. You know, some people are bad. Some people do things we don't agree with. Russia's Ukraine's like Ukraine's corrupt. Ukraine's corrupt, guys.
mierda no le podés dar ni un milímetro.
Pero ¿me podés definir zurdo de mierda que no
Todos
lo
los que, digamos, los colectivistas.
All the collectivists. If you give the collectivists an inch, they'll kill
ponen,
you.
digamos, o sea, esa idea. A ver,
¿Por qué le pones de mierda, digamos?
Porque son una mierda. O sea,
vos mezclás,
no,
pero
es que si pensás, pero si pensás distinto te van a aniquilar.
They will kill you, that's the point. He seems so unhinged. But that's the point. I mean, they're telling their supporters that leftists want to kill them or liberals want to kill them. They want people to be violent against the left. That's a necessary part of the authoritarian phases or whatever, which is really scary, obviously. That we want to stay away from, we want to stay away from that, but that's what they want. That's what they always do. Okay, you can call in right now. I see people trying to call in. Go ahead. Go ahead, Colin. Go ahead, Colin. They will kill you. The projection's insane. Who's this guy? I'll call him. Since he wants to spam me.
Your call has been forwarded to an...
For real, bro? For real, bro? For real? No one picks up the phone, bro. No one picks up the phone. No one picks up the phone anymore. What's that all about? Bro. 91 disabled kids in one PA school district abruptly cut off from a support program to help them transition from high school to life after school because DOGE hit Control-Alt-F for transition and never bothered to read any further. Oh, for transition, because of gender, of course. So a transition program for disabled kids to transition from high school to the... Okay. Path for my future success funding was deleted. That's awesome. Really, really amazing. Really amazing precision right there from our world's most brilliant man of all time. What it means for your child. Your child will no longer receive the transition support that were part of the federally funded Charting My Path for Future Success project. Your child will also continue to receive the district support provided to your child before they started.
Call from Sigma Boy.
Yeah, that's really the state of it, huh? Really the state of it. So, yeah, all these programs are being cut randomly without them understanding what they mean. They've been cutting... Oh, I have to subscribe. DOGE rips through education contracts. Any proof, or is it your theory? I hate this, bro. Trump supporters have all the conspiracies in the world about literally everything. But you bring them like a document or a law, and they're like, how do you know this is true? How do you know it's true? How do you know this is true, dude? Like, how do you know? How could you know? Like, there's no way to know if it's true. There's no way to know if it's true. It can be anything. This could be anything they're showing me right now. It could be anything, bro. Okay, what's happening in the chat? 1 second. Those programs should have everything they need. Buddy, the free market and property taxes locally don't pay for kids with disabilities.
Call from... To accept,
nice.
press
It's
1.
a risk,
To
but we're
send
gonna
a
do it.
voicemail.
Hello. Hello. Man, I'm gonna have to restart the stream. It's gonna be one of those nights, bro. It's gonna be one of those nights. You know what I mean? Things are going the wrong direction. Oh, wait a second.
This is an absolute...
Okay. So, this story today has me raging, okay? Because people reacting to it have the dumbest opinions humanly imaginable. And Asmongold, intellectual genius, is gonna say the dumbest shit that any human can possibly utter right now. And we are gonna tell him why he's wrong, okay?
Absolute rock bottom moment for the legacy media.
This is a gamer. It's a popular gamer. So if you wonder why all the kids love Hitler now, it's because of Asmongold.
Yeah. According to Face the Nation host Margaret Brennan, the Holocaust happened because of genocidal Nazi regime, which defined totalitarian for the 20th century, allowed too much free speech. This is a crazy exchange. This media...
Okay, so look at this statement right there. Absolute rock bottom moment for legacy media. According to Face the Nation host, the Holocaust happened because of the genocidal Nazi regime, which defined totalitarianism for the 20th century, allowed too much free speech. She did not say at all that Nazi Germany allowed too much free speech. Let's continue.
And for the 20th century, allowed too much free speech.
If someone's this dumb, or if they're this slimy, that they will lie to you about this, you cannot trust them.
A crazy exchange. Does media really think the Holocaust was caused by free speech? Fuck it. We'll take a risk. We'll watch this. There's a lot of people talking about it. I'm actually really curious what this is.
Well, he was standing in a country where free speech was weaponized to conduct a genocide. And he met with the head of a political party that has far-right views and some historic ties to extreme groups.
Okay, let's see what Asmongold says first. Before I go off on it, let's see what he says first. Okay, she says free speech weaponized in a way that eventually led to a genocide. Okay.
The context of that was
and there's currently a far-right party that many people see as a successor to the Nazi party, the AfD in Germany, that Elon Musk and JD Vance support.
Groups. The context of that was changing the tone of it. And you know that censorship
I have to disagree with
was
you.
specifically about the right.
No, I have to disagree with you. Free speech was not used to conduct a genocide. The genocide was conducted by an authoritarian Nazi regime that happened to also be genocidal because they hated Jews and they hated minorities and they hated those that they had a list of people they hated, but primarily the Jews. There was no free speech in Nazi Germany. There was none. There was also no opposition in Nazi Germany. They were a sole and only party that governed that country. So that's not an accurate reflection of history.
Well, he was...
I've got to listen to this again.
Standing...
Okay, first listen. He needs another listen. I respect that. The comments are calling her the R word, saying that she's stupid, saying she's dumb, saying that she has an earpiece that's telling her information to say, okay, or whatever other conspiracies.
In a country where free speech...
Where's the long...
Someone saying, okay, there obviously was not free speech in Nazi Germany. We know that. No one's saying there was free speech in Nazi Germany. The lack of literacy to interpret words in this country is insane. She is not saying there was free speech in Nazi Germany. She's not saying the free speech in Nazi Germany led to the Holocaust. She's not saying that. With any type of reasoning ability, any kind of reasoning ability, you know she's not saying that.
Longer form version of this. There's gotta be like, this is crazy. Okay, this is a 3-minute one.
And so I think if anyone's angry about his word, they don't have to agree with him, but to be angry about it, I think actually makes his point. I thought it was actually a pretty historic speech, whether you agree with him or not. I think the valid points he's making to Europe is we are concerned that the true values that we share, the values that bind us together with Europe, are things like free speech and democracy and our shared history in winning 2 world wars and defeating Soviet communism and the like. These are the values that we shared in common. And in that Cold War, we fought against things like censorship and oppression and so forth. And when you see backsliding and you raise that, that's a very valid concern. We can't tell them how to run their countries. He simply expressed in a speech his view of it, which a lot of people frankly share. And I thought he said a lot of things in that speech that needed to be said. And honestly, I don't know why.
JD Vance said, the real enemy is not China or Russia. The real enemy is the enemy within. And he started saying a bunch of lies about how free speech is gone in Europe. Meanwhile, the AfD, the new neo-Nazi party, was just on national television for Germany the day before. The day before. Russia and China, oh, don't be afraid of them. Be afraid of the enemy within.
Why anybody would be upset about it. People are allowed, you know,
there's a huge opposition party in the beginning. Yeah.
You don't have to agree with someone's speech. I happen to agree with a lot of what he said, but you don't have to agree with someone's speech to at least appreciate the fact they have a right to say it, and that you should listen to it and see whether those criticisms are valid. I assure you, the United States has come under withering criticism on many occasions from many leaders in Europe, and we don't go around throwing temper tantrums about it.
Well, he was standing in a country where free speech was weaponized to conduct a genocide.
Now remember the confidence and the condescension that you can have having zero facts about the world. You know, what he's about to say is going to be the dumbest, most degenerate, 0 IQ comment in human history. Okay, he's going to say the dumbest shit possible. All right, the dumbest, most, I want to say really bad words to describe what he's about to say. But just remember, if you believe that she's saying Nazi Germany had free speech, you do not have literacy. Your brain is not functional. Your brain is being poisoned by social media. You are believing any narrative that right-wing Twitter tells you to believe. You're believing any narrative right-wing media tells you to believe. The condescension, the big pause.
I was really hoping, so like the reason why I didn't want to watch the short clip is I was thinking to myself, there's no way, right? There's no way. This has got to be out of context. This is, but how is it? It's like that Kick streamer clip earlier, where it's like, no, not only is it out of context, but it's even worse.
In a country where free speech was weaponized to conduct a genocide, and he met with the head of a political party that has far-right views and some historic ties to extreme groups. The context of that was changing the tone of it. And you know that the censorship was specifically about the right.
No, I have to disagree with you. Free speech was not used to conduct a genocide. The genocide was conducted by an authoritarian Nazi regime that happened to also be genocidal because they hated Jews and they hated minorities and they hated those that they had a list of people they hated, but primarily the Jews. There was no free speech in Nazi Germany. There was none. There was also no opposition in Nazi Germany. They were a sole and only party that governed that country. So that's not.
This is a really famous gamer who does political content now. He is a big MAGA supporter, the biggest political streamer on Twitch.
Not an accurate reflection of history. I also think it's wrong.
Again, really
I go
dumb.
back to the point of his speech. Okay, the point of his speech was basically that there is an erosion in free speech and intolerance for opposing points of view within Europe, and that
the White House right now is banning press that doesn't say Gulf of America. Although Gulf of Mexico is still the name, we identify as Gulf of America here in America because we're silly. The AP reports globally Gulf of Mexico because that's what it's called globally. And the White House is barring them from the Oval Office. They want loyalist media in the Oval Office. They're banning federal workers from even saying the word diversity or DEI, or you get fired. They're doing thought policing in our government right now. Nothing about that. Nothing about that at all. Do you think these guys understand anything about Europe and their democracies?
That's of concern because that is eroding. That's not an erosion of your military capabilities. That's not an erosion of your economic standing. That's an erosion of the actual values that bind us together in this transatlantic union that everybody talks about.
I'm waiting for him to say something really dumb, though. I'm waiting for the actual, like, super, super dumb comment. But he's really just going, yeah, sure, yeah, sure, yeah, sure. I'm waiting for the dumb comment.
Little Marco's come a long way ever since 2016, hasn't he?
Little Marco. Is he going to say an actual opinion?
He really has.
I'm waiting to respond to an opinion that he says. But does he just, like, nod along to the MAGA videos and not give an opinion the entire time? I'm waiting for the actual, like, the
allies and friends and forums, countries to engage with us,
where is it?
His speech because he's advocating for
have the right.
So they're criticizing JD's speech because he's advocating for free speech in Europe? That's wow.
And the privilege.
Oh my God, bro. Okay, so
to speak their minds in forums such as these.
Mr. Secretary, I'm told that we are out of time.
I fucking bet. Yeah. I bet. Yeah, bro. Time's up. Oh, my God.
We're cooked.
Jesus.
This is the American political
Obviously, you're not
opinion.
criticizing for that.
This is the American political
like
opinion
that.
right now.
It
This
sure
is the
seems
America,
like that's what she said.
The America
I mean, if
consensus
that's not
right
what
now.
it was, that then it could be something else, but it sure seems.
Remember, millions of kids watching this. Millions of kids between the ages of 15 and 25.
Seems like that's what she said. Absolutely.
He has not given one opinion. He just laughed.
In the U.S. if Kamala had won, I don't know, man. And she's running. Yeah, bro, we're out of time. That's insane.
And so I think if anyone's angry about his word, they don't have to agree.
Give an opinion. I want to hear the dumb opinion really quick.
Free speech. Well, the reason why media criticizes free speech is because free speech puts the media at risk. Because free speech is a counterbalance to the media. The media wants themselves to be the arbiters of what's true and what's not, and it's a power grab, really. It's not even ideological.
Okay, so the actual topic at hand here. The reason she said that free speech was weaponized in Germany to lead to the Holocaust is because in Nazi Germany, there was no free speech. But in the Weimar Republic, there were conditions set through propaganda from the Nazi party that convinced the Germany people, that convinced the people of Germany to be okay with the atrocities, to be okay with dehumanizing people, to be okay with the social fragmentation, to be okay with the chaos. Before Nazi Germany, Nazis abused free speech to lie to people, to manipulate on a grand scale. She's talking about in Germany, they are sensitive about letting Nazis have microphones because Nazis can be very convincing when they lie to people and they convince people to hate each other and be super scared and paranoid to the point where they destroy entire societies. That's why in Germany, they're more sensitive to allowing people just like hailing Hitler in public or saying just like direct Nazi ideologies in public. They're sensitive to it because they saw before in Germany's history when people are able to just share hateful lies completely without any type of pushback and just have the freedom of reach, not just the freedom of speech, but the freedom of reach. When they're able to do that, these dangerous groups can convince people to have things like the Holocaust, to have things like single party rule. The single party rule of the Nazis came as a result of the Nazis weaponizing free speech. That's the entire point of what she said. But these dumbasses don't have any capability to interpret this information, so they nod along. Yeah, media bad. Yeah, dude, I cannot believe she just said that. I cannot believe she said that. She thinks freedom of speech led to the Holocaust. Completely unrestricted free speech absolutism is 100% a cause for violence. It's not free speech to direct people to do violence, to lie to people in a way that motivates them to do violence. You cannot incite violence. That's not part of free speech. Inciting violence, hate crimes, that is not part of that. It's a different conversation. When JD Vance goes in there to criticize European democracy, when their democracies are much more free than America's, and their people are much happier than America's, their people live 8 years longer on average with life expectancy in Europe than Americans do. They have better systems than America does. They have less money in their political systems than Americans do. When JD Vance goes into Europe, which have more, they have better functioning democratic models. He goes there in the midst of Russia and Ukraine being the biggest topic globally, okay? He says in that speech at the security conference, Russia and China are not the big threats. The real threats are the enemy within because they're trying to get people to turn against each other to get the governments to fall apart. Because J.D. Vance, Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, all these big, rich, billionaire buttholes, they want governments to fall apart so they can pick up the pieces and gain power. They want divide and conquer. That's the reason of what she said. That's the point behind what she just said there. And all the people who seriously believe she is saying that Nazi Germany had free speech, get your brain checked.
His speech was very unprofessional and left a bad taste. A lot of people lost faith in America after that, and that's a fact. Well, I don't know if I don't know how many other people I speak for, but I'm speaking for myself at least, is that if you lose faith in America because America is advocating for freedom of speech and freedom of expression, then I didn't want your faith to begin with.
They're not really advocating for freedom of speech. They're bringing up random culture war topics. So, for example, one topic J.D. Vance brought up was about someone getting... the UK police were talking about arresting someone for internet posts. The reason they were going to arrest someone for internet posts is because they incited a race riot. They used the social media to lie about a crime. They said it was an illegal immigrant that killed people. Okay, they said there was an illegal immigrant that killed people. It was actually a citizen of the UK. This online post caused a literal race riot. J.D. Vance brings that up as preventing free speech because they wanted to arrest someone that caused the race riot with lies on the internet. He also brought up an idea that people were getting arrested for praying in their own homes because they were too close to an abortion clinic. And there's a buffer zone from an abortion clinic. There's a radius you cannot be within because they don't want protesters shaming people going to get abortions. And J.D. Vance claimed that law applies if your house is within that radius, that you cannot pray in your own home in private, that you can go to jail. That was completely false. So Vance went to lie his ass off. He went to go show Europe, we are not your friend anymore. Russia and China are not the enemy. He said, you are the enemy. There's a reason Trump attacks Greenland, Mexico, Canada, the EU, but he never attacks Russia, China, North Korea, Saudi Arabia, Israel. There's a reason he never attacks the authoritarian countries globally. He only attacks the free countries globally because they support the authoritarian countries. They support Hungary. J.D. Vance said during the campaign, he wants America to be more like Hungary, which is moving towards a dictatorship. That is their entire model. When they say free speech, it's a dog whistle. It's not true. They don't really want free speech. They're cracking down on free speech right now in America. He's doing that to divide Europe. He wants the crazy radical groups to win in the European elections so those governments can fall apart. So authoritarianism becomes more likely globally. That's the entire goal of J.D. Vance's speech.
It's not worth anything. Go fuck yourself.
His view of it, which a lot of people frankly share. And I thought he said a lot of things in that speech that needed to be said. And honestly, I don't know why anybody would be upset about it. People are allowed, you don't have to agree with someone's speech. I happen to agree with a lot of what he said, but you don't have to agree with someone's speech to at least appreciate the fact they have a right to say it, and that you should listen to it and see whether those criticisms are valid. I assure you, the United States has come under withering criticism on many occasions from many leaders in Europe, and we don't go around throwing temper tantrums about it.
Well,
yeah, we don't go around throwing temper tantrums about anything, bro. Donald Trump never threw a temper tantrum about anything. Drop a like on the stream. We have 23 likes, 600 viewers. Drop a like on the stream. Let's get to 40 likes. I'll take some calls, okay? I'll take some calls. Drop some likes on the stream. Drop some likes on the stream. I'll take some calls. Stay calm? No, Cam. It's not calm season. It's belt to ass season. Belt to ass. Okay. Phone lines are open. You can call again. Drop a like on the stream. Yeah, they want to appeal to people to have free hate speech. You're right. Good point, Kane. I need to say that more often. The cases they brought up of free speech being limited it was all hate speech. They want to protect hate speech. Oh my god, bro. All the kids are watching right now. All the kids are calling in. Pranksters. Okay, call again. All the kids are watching. Oh, wrong stream. There you go. Call in again. Who is the real president? Okay, call in.
Call from
John.
To accept, press.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Nothing much. How are you?
Yeah, give me a second. I'm gonna cut it off. I'm gonna get closer to my router.
You're good.
All right, can you still hear me?
Yep, hear you all good. What's up?
Hey, so what I heard you talking about earlier is that I'm kind of confused. Are you saying that free speech is the whole reason that the Nazi Party started?
No, I'm saying that free speech is very powerful, and that's why we like to protect free speech, but it can also be used for motivating people to do really bad things.
So then what's the solution? Do you just get rid of it?
No, you don't get rid of it, but you might have some type of regulation against like direct hate speech, or like I always say, freedom of speech, but not freedom of reach.
But who's the arbiter of what hate speech is? Like, say, like I hate the fact that you are bringing this up right now. That's hate speech to me.
Well,
but
that's not
you
hate
might not
speech.
agree with me.
If I say, for example, the Jews are controlling the world and we need to exterminate them, that'd be like hate speech in my mind. Like a call to action of violence.
But to say that like free speech is what caused like the Third Reich or Nazism.
It didn't cause it. It's a tool they used. It's one of the tools they used.
Okay, but what part of, again, that's not free speech. That's an agenda, because what part of free speech was there during the Third Reich or Nazism where you could say, hey, I'm an independent party, fuck the Third Reich, and Hitler's a bitch? What part of free speech was that?
No, there was no free speech in the Third Reich. There was no free speech in Nazi Germany. The point is that free speech is a weapon that Nazis used to convince people to give them complete and utter control. They used free speech to spread their message.
But it wasn't. That's not free speech. That's pushing an agenda.
That's still free speech. Within free speech, you can push an agenda.
No,
like during
it's not,
the government.
Because free speech would be what you're doing right now, saying like, oh, I hate Trump, Trump hates America, fuck Trump, even though he's in power, but no one's coming for you. In Nazi Germany, if you said, hey, fuck Hitler, or hey, fuck the Reich.
Do you understand when I say Nazi?
You'd be lucky if you could even utter.
Hey, wait. Okay, I'm saying the foundation for Nazi Germany. When did Nazi Germany begin?
Probably, from my understanding, early 1900s, probably maybe 1920s, 30s.
Yeah, so the Nazi Party the Nazi Germany began in 1933, okay? So the original time that Hitler tried coupping the government was 19...
There were Nazis before that. There were Nazis meeting... There were Nazis meeting...
Listen for 1 second. Let me explain this. The original coup when when Hitler tried overturning the government was in 1923 in the Weimar Republic. The Weimar Republic was a liberal democracy. They had a constitution. They had very strict rights protecting free speech. When Hitler tried coupping the government, he was only in prison for 9 months. That's when he wrote Mein Kampf. So 10 years later, he became Chancellor of Germany, and it became a dictatorship 10 years later. So I'm saying within the Weimar Republic, before Nazi Germany, they used the free speech that was extremely liberal with no restrictions in Weimar, or very minor restrictions. They used that free speech and free reach to convince people of their Nazi ideology, to convince people that we needed a dictatorship, or that Germany needed a dictatorship to deal with the Jewish conspiracy. That's what she's saying.
Okay, so if there was true free speech, how I understand free speech, there would have been an alternative, and there wouldn't have been an agenda that was.
There was an alternative. No, there was an alternative. Leading to Nazi Germany, there were alternatives, but the point is, Germany's very sensitive about allowing Nazis unrestricted control of the microphone or on media because they are very convincing and they lie nonstop. They lie about literally everything. So there were opposition parties in the Weimar Republic, but they were able to still win. They were able to still use freedom of speech to win.
It's very bizarre that you're trying to say that fascism had free speech, but yet it's also fascism.
Okay, wait. Think again for a second. The Weimar Republic was a liberal democracy. In the liberal democracy, similar to what we have in the U.S. today, okay, they had freedom of speech. In that government, Hitler and the Nazi Party used freedom of speech.
It's not even comparable to what we have today. Because
if you're not going to listen to me fully explain, I'm going to hang up. I'm serious, bro. I'm serious. You don't understand what you're talking about? Let me fucking finish. The Weimar Republic had free speech. Are you following? They had free speech leading to Nazi Germany. Are you following? Repeat the words back to me.
I'm listening.
Repeat the words back to me. The Weimar Republic leading to Nazi Germany had free speech and opposition parties. Say that back to me.
What does that have to do with what's going on right now?
Because she is saying, okay, step by step, do it in your brain, like we're playing hopscotch, okay? One by one. So, in the Weimar Republic, they used free speech, unrestricted, to share lies about the Jewish, to get ultimate power and influence in the system to the point where they could convince the people of Germany to topple the Weimar Republic, the free democracy they had, to trade it for one-party rule. She's not saying anything about Nazi Germany having free speech or not. She's saying that before Nazi Germany, before it became a dictatorship, they used free speech to make the cause more powerful, to convince the people of Germany that they needed a dictatorship. That's what she's saying. Freedom of speech in Germany, that's why they're more restrictive on it, because freedom of speech can be very, very dangerous if someone's allowed to just lie in the public. In the Weimar Republic before Nazi Germany, which led to Nazi Germany. Does that make sense?
What I understand that what you're trying to do is that you're trying to use past instances to justify. I don't even know what you're trying to justify. Are you trying to justify that freedom of speech is not okay?
I just want you to have a basic understanding of the events. Can you explain back to me what I just said?
I don't care about the events. I'm talking about.
No, you need to understand the events we're talking about. Yes. Do you understand what I just said, though? I just need to know that you understand what I just said.
No, I heard what you said, but again, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. We're talking about free speech and modernity. I don't care about fucking 70 years ago.
I'm saying that when the girl on the news show said freedom of speech was an issue for Germany that led to a Holocaust, she's saying that freedom of speech.
I'm talking to you on the phone. I'm not watching whatever clip you're watching about. So whatever girl you're talking about, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
The entire conversation is about freedom of. Okay, she says to Marco Rubio that the Nazis weaponized freedom of speech.
I don't care about that. I'm asking you a personal question. Are you for or are you against free speech? Because it sounds like you're against free speech because free speech can be used to cause an uprising.
I am very pro free speech, but there are restrictions to free speech in every system, in our system as well.
So then you're anti-free speech.
Should you be legally allowed to like post on social media that you want to kill the president? And that you're gonna
People
do
all the time.
Should you be able to say, for example,
on Twitter, all the
should you be able to say on Twitter, for example,
People
post a
do all the
picture?
time.
Should be able to post a picture of your coworker and say, "Hey, if you see this guy in public, make sure you shoot him." Should you be able to do that? Or can you lie?
Can. Yeah.
Can you say, like, for example, can I post a picture of you and say this guy's a raging pedophile? If you find him, beat him up.
Well, let me ask you this, because you're talking about like in the public square. What
I'm
about
talking about causing violence.
life?
I'm talking about inciting violence.
No, I'm asking you because you're equating this to like to Twitter or to like public forums. What about in your personal life? What if I lie in my personal life? Should the Gestapo come for me in my personal life because I told a lie?
No, if you project a message publicly to try and cause violence or incite violence or a hate crime, then you should probably have some type of restriction, if not on freedom of speech, but freedom of reach. So like social media algorithms should probably not boost your message.
Okay, but here's the thing, in the court of public opinion, and when it comes to free speech, yeah, you should be allowed to say those things, and you will suffer the consequences because of it. People will either be for or against it.
Yeah, they will be for or against it. But when it comes to unrestricted access to every single airwave, if you're saying, like, for example, we need to exterminate a certain race, then many may argue that's a very damaging viewpoint to be having spread to children or something.
But again, so it's not good in the court of public opinion or on Twitter. But like, what if I did that in my personal life? Is that okay?
If you, in what way? If you lie to your friend and you say, like, hey, by the way,
if I have a family of, like, let's say, like, me and my wife have 6 kids, and we tell those 6 kids that, hey, Asians deserve to die, is someone coming for us?
So the standard would be, for example, if you are widely spreading.
I guess my point is how do you mitigate that? How do you actually enforce it? Can you only enforce it on platforms?
Do you think libel and slander should be?
It'll just go underground.
Do you think libel, slander, and defamation should be things that you can sue about?
Particularly, I'm not a very litigious person. I think it's a lot of bullshit. I think a lot of stuff is like water off a duck's back. You should just get the fuck over it. If it actually harms you, if you like have a business, or if it's actually trying to like, you know, keep you from making money or keeping your livelihood, then yes, there might be a point, but even then, very hard. Very hard to prove the intention of the person that's going against you.
If you distribute pornography to a platform that has kids on it, should you be arrested?
I'm sorry, what?
If you distribute pornography to a platform that has kids on it, should you be arrested?
If you distribute well, I mean, that's happening currently, and
should you be arrested for that? Should you be? Should you be? Should you?
For the current legislation, and in terms of like
no, I'm saying your values, with your values,
yeah,
with freedom of speech. Or do you think this should be unrestricted?
No, freedom of speech, you should be allowed to do that, but you're gonna suffer the consequences of your actions.
Okay, you should be allowed, but how are you gonna suffer consequences if it's not illegal and you do it from an anonymous account?
I'm sorry, say that again.
If you do it from an anonymous account, how are you gonna suffer the consequences if there's no legal repercussion for it?
There's plenty of people that currently do that today.
I'm saying in your system, if it should be a legal thing to do. I don't think it should be illegal to spread pornography to kids.
The other issue too is like you're looking at it through the lens of a utopia that you literally cannot.
No, I'm talking about the legal framework. I'm talking about the law. I don't think it should be legal to give pornography to kids. Do you agree or disagree?
It's already illegal. I don't know why you're asking me about the legality.
Do you believe it should be illegal? Do you believe? Why are you not answering? Why are you not answering? Why are you not answering? Do you believe it should be illegal or not illegal to distribute pornography to kids?
It's already illegal. Yeah, I do.
Do you believe it should be illegal? Do you believe it should be illegal?
Yeah.
Why will you not answer? Okay, finally, you answer. Okay, good. Do you think you should be able to falsely advertise something on purpose and lie to people about, like, for example, a drug? You could say it saves cancer when it doesn't. Do you think you should be able to falsely lie about stuff like that to sell it?
Do you think I should be able to do that in my personal life?
Actually, no. I think if you give someone a pill and you're lying about the contents of it, actually is a crime. Yeah.
No, I'm just talking about lying in general. If I walk up to my neighbor
I'm talking
and I go,
about
hey,
specific cases where lying would not be permissible under the First Amendment, and we have Supreme Court cases to back it up. That's why I'm asking you these different questions. So, should you be allowed to falsely advertise something on purpose?
Buddy, everything starts at grassroots. If I go to my neighbor and I tell him, hey, I found out that AIDS medication actually doesn't work, should he believe me? Should I go to jail for that?
I'm saying if you are knowingly distributing, if for example, you know it's fake, then yeah, that would classify under a violation. If you know it's fake intentionally, but it's hard to prove that in court. It's hard to prove that in court though, but it's not protected. But you have to prove that you knew that it's wrong. If you're purposely deceiving, then yes, but if you're not purposely deceiving, then no.
I agree with you, but you're talking about through the medium of like the internet, forums, putting it out there in the public. But I'm talking about like, what if I just walked around my community and spread lies?
If you believe them truly, then it would be protected. But like, for example, like defamation cases, you need to prove. Like, you ever hear the song "Not Like Us" by Kendrick Lamar?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you know the song by Kendrick Lamar, "Not Like Us"?
It's funny that you mentioned that. I actually looked up the lyrics today and I read them and I could not understand them for the life of me.
Okay, well, in that song he calls Drake. He's another rapper singer. Yeah. So like for that case, if Drake wanted to bring defamation to Kendrick Lamar for saying that out loud in public, for him to win that court case, he would need to prove that Kendrick. He would need to prove that Kendrick actually, or that Kendrick knowingly deceived the public. Because if Kendrick actually believes that, then it would not be liable under defamation. But if he knows it's not true and he's purposely lying about it, then it would be for a defamation case. But there's a lot of other things protecting artists. But just like there's different standards for that.
But the other thing is too, it's through the medium in which he used it, which falls under parody law and artistic law, which is like you're allowed to bend the truth for artistic or parody reasons.
And there's here's a Supreme Court case. Okay, so basically, there were KKK leaders calling for black people to be murdered in 1969. They were holding a rally. They were yelling to everyone, find the closest N-word, bring them to us so we can lynch them, so we can kill them. We need to kill everyone that's nearby, every black person. Is them calling for lynching black people, should that be protected under the First Amendment, the KKK?
Yes, 100%.
Okay, I disagree. I think if you're like calling for the lynching of black people and telling people to go look for black people to kill, then you should.
Because here's the thing. If you have common sense and you have enough common sense to pass the smell test, you're gonna have people who are gonna automatically go against you and fight you.
Shit, tell that to black people back then. My man, shit.
Well, okay. There was few black people back then, and there was slavery, yet somehow they got freed. So riddle me that, Batman.
Yeah, so like under our First Amendment, with our like Supreme Court rulings, that would not be covered under the First Amendment.
Clearly enough white people were willing to die and willing to free them. So this whole idea that like, oh, they're a minority and they'll never get out of that situation is bullshit. And that
don't get offended by that. Don't get offended by that. I'm just saying the legal standard for the First Amendment.
Slaves would never be free. I'm just
saying the legal standard for the First Amendment, the legal standard. If you disagree with the legal standard, so you disagree with the First Amendment legally, you think it should go further, that's fine. Yeah, that's your position.
No, but here's the thing about free speech. I think anyone should be allowed to say what they say. And you suffer the consequences of whatever you say, whatever it is, whatever. You want to fucking advocate for pedophilia? Go ahead, see how it works out for you. You want to advocate for racism? Go ahead, see how it works out for you. You should be allowed to fucking say it.
Yeah, so the argument would basically be like before the Holocaust, for example, or before Nazi Germany, and we know it resulted in the Holocaust and the extermination of like Jewish people. Before that, when there's like a leader saying we need to exterminate Jewish people, okay, no, you do not understand what we're. Okay, brother, think again. The Nazi Party got the authoritarian power through the freedom of speech when they did have opposition parties. So the thinking would be, in the mid-1920s, we're like, oh crap, this Nazi party is advocating for exterminating Jewish people. We should probably kick them off the airwaves because they're going to result in a Holocaust if they keep on convincing people to want to kill Jews. You understand that?
No, I do, yeah.
That's the point, like leading up to it. I know Nazi Germany had no free speech. I agree. But the single party rule came largely from Nazis being able to spew their dumb bullshit out to the public without, just like, some places have laws, for example, that you cannot speak like that publicly unless if you have a opposing viewpoint with you. That was a law that like FDR passed during World War II in America because we had a lot of like white nationalists in America rising up. But there was a new law. It was like the media fairness, something like an act about something with media fairness, and you had to have both viewpoints on there because if you have a white supremacist out there and he's talking and he has no pushback and he's just like doing a huge speech and he's advocating for the extermination of an entire race, then we got to get the guy off the stage because he might actually lead to a freaking Holocaust. You can lead people to human atrocities if you get them to believe anything. So that's my main thing here.
All right, but you don't also see how people who, okay, so like if I agree with you in saying like, all right, people who are bad are not allowed to speak their opinion, but the way to do that is that you have, well, hold on, is that you have an authoritarian government or whoever curtailing speech, then, well, they go, again, hate speech. What is hate speech? Who is the arbiter of hate speech? What is considered hate speech, and who is the arbiter of that?
Well, we have a legal system for all of that. Like, what is considered murder versus manslaughter? We have courts for that. We need to have a legal process that can decide these like court cases, and it would be a very high standard, by the way. Like it is for defamation. It's a very high standard.
Let me ask you this: with our current legal system, if I said I hate black people, should I go to jail, or should I suffer some kind of repercussion legally?
No, I don't. Not that, but if you are rounding up people with the intent of causing violence, and that's hard to prove in a courtroom if you have the intent of causing violence. But if you say like we should,
what if I start a social club where all we do is play poker and we talk about how we hate black people?
No, I'm saying no, but you're missing the key point there. There's Nazis right now that freely have the swastika right now on bridges all across America saying they're dumb shit. But the point is, if they were orchestrating, if they were like getting people on Facebook to like come together for a plan to eventually go kill black people, then yeah, that would be against it. But if they're just saying I hate black people, that would be protected. But that's why I'm saying the court standing for this would be extremely high.
What if I had a group where we just walked around town and we just gathered people and all we did was say we hate black people, but we're not going to do anything to them. We just don't like them.
I mean, yeah, that would probably be fine under the First Amendment. But once you start inciting violence, then it changes.
All right, cool.
It's a weird group, though. Don't be part of that group. Don't be part of that group, though.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
Well, don't be part of that group. Don't do that.
My brother-in-law is Algerian. And, like, come on.
Yeah, but
no, I'm trying to make a point because I'm trying to find a level in which I've been hearing you. That was like your whole point today that I've been watching is that you were talking about like free speech is used to start problems, and I was like, well, free speech has solved a lot of problems.
Yeah, I agree. You need to protect free speech when it comes to like people giving their opinion on what the government's doing. But if there's ever, obviously, if they're planning a race riot, then it's like, okay, we probably need to shut this down because people are going to believe, especially if you like lie about it on social media.
Well, here's the other thing too, because that's the tipping point. Because then it stops becoming free speech and it starts becoming action. Action is the thing that we make laws for, not speech.
But if your free speech is going to lead to action, like I have a really good case to tell you. Then that's very recent.
You said what?
I have a really good case about this to tell you. Like, the UK had like race riots recently. I don't know if you saw the news about that. Yeah, race riots. It was in the news a little bit, but they were going around just like finding brown people and like asking them if they're immigrants, and, like beating them up and stuff. And this came as a result of a fake news story. Someone did kill a few people, But this news story was spread on social media, and someone lied and said this was an illegal immigrant that did this crime, and they called for some type of like violent riot in the streets to find all the illegals, and it was like a mini race war from the alt-right groups in the UK. And this person, the standard for this would be, you know, did that person knowingly say something about this person being an immigrant, which was a lie? They were a citizen of the UK, and also did they intentionally call for violence? That'd be the high standard in a court. But that lie did lead to a race riot. So something like that is what they're like debating on. Like, should we be putting a stop to this? And that's a debate we can have. But that's the main problem that they bring up.
Can I ask you? All right. So the whole thing about the UK was that they just found a brown person. They just started questioning him.
Well, they would just go around looking for people that looked like immigrants and like beat them up, or pull them out of cars and stuff.
In a white country, why would that be bad? When the adverse would be like, say you were in China, or say you were in Japan, or say you were in India, and you found a white person, or someone, or a black person, someone who just wasn't from that national area, and you suspected them of something. Would they also be guilty of racism?
No, it's not being guilty of racism. It's being guilty of inciting a race riot, like the violent part. Like you're inciting that. It's not saying you don't like someone.
The other thing too is that, as far as I'm concerned, only white countries really have to deal with a mass migration of immigrants. No other country is dealing with this.
Why is this even why are you saying this?
Because it's fact.
And what about it? What about it relates to our conversation right now, though?
Because you were talking about the UK thing.
Okay, and they were lied to about a story, and they went and rioted about it because it was a fake story. I don't know, like.
No, I'm talking about like I can understand why if they single them out, because yeah, if you're in France and you see someone who's in French. Yeah, okay, you might suspect them of being up to something. Maybe they're not. I'm just saying.
I'm not just saying racial profiling. I'm saying a full race riot. I'm not just saying racial profiling. People do that all the time. But like these people are emboldened to go do violence by the speech. That's the point. The speech causing violence.
Let me ask you this, since we're kind of delving semi into that topic. Do you think multiculturalism is feasible?
Yeah, it's actually a really, really good thing.
How is it when you can look at America and you can see all the people that are complaining about erasure?
Because they're emotional babies and need to get with the program and actually go outside. That's the big issue. They're a bunch of emotional like bitch asses, to be honest.
So it's okay if I adopt another culture as my own once it's integrated into my society.
Wait 1 second. My microphone's bugging out. 1 second. Hello, can you hear me again?
I can hear you.
Okay, ask me that again. My freaking internet cable got pulled out.
What if I want to adopt some particular part of your culture as my own, or celebrate it in some kind of fashion? Is that good or is that bad?
If you want to integrate some type of part of another culture, I mean, sure, that's fine.
But you hear that a lot in America, at least from the left. That's called cultural appropriation.
I don't care about the weird college kids. That's like 1% of the even Democratic Party. They're such a minority of the population. I really don't care. They're just loud about it.
Damn, then all right, I like you more then. All right, we got common ground. I like you already.
If someone's freaking if they're wearing a Native American headset and they're freaking making dumbass noises, then yeah, they'll probably be bad. But just integrating cultures is good. But there's a difference between 100%.
Well, let me ask you this then, because now I do want to talk about like integration into America, because I do think America's a melting pot.
After this, I'm going to go to a new caller after this question.
No, but no, seriously, I really want to know your opinion on this. Do you think that America, if we're supposed to absorb all these other cultures and all these other people through asylum or whatever you actually fucking believe, do you think that they actually have to assimilate?
I think that can be a natural process that already happens. We should provide some resources, and I mean, we could work on that. But I mean, it's been fine. That's probably why America's so strong.
Does it have to be a natural process, or does it have to be something that's mandatory?
I think it can probably just be done naturally. I don't think we need to mandate much. We should have programs available to help with like language and also for like things like driving and everything.
I think it is done naturally for the most part, but there's a lot of sects. That's why you have like people who self-segregate, like Little China, Little Italy, people who refuse to learn the language. You don't think those people have to assimilate? You can just live as.
No, but like we don't need to mandate it as a government. We can provide the resources. We could just provide resources. It's not about needing to. It's just about providing resources. It goes fine. Like the communities with higher immigration rates have actually lower crime rates after immigrants because they don't want to get deported. They're usually great people. They're in America for a better life. It's a very small percentage of immigrants that are going to be committing crimes or anything like that. So it usually goes pretty well. But yeah, final question. Then I'm gonna go to another caller.
All right. Well, let me ask you this then, because I remember you saying this the other day. Is that you said that most Americans working a 9 to 5, that's a hard thing to do for most Americans. You said that, right? Like, I'm not retarded. Like, you actually said that.
A hard thing to do for most Americans to work a 9 to 5. I mean, to work a 9 to 5, and no, yeah. I don't know what conversation you mean. I'm not sure.
Because you were talking to me, you hung up on me. I've been calling you quite frequently.
Yeah, I know.
I have fun talking to you.
What was the question?
Well, I asked you. Yeah. Well, I was talking about other socialist and communist countries. When they migrate here, they think it's amazing that they can work a 9 to 5. And you told me that most Americans can't work a 9 to 5. And I was like, okay, well then in terms of immigration, why would you have more immigrants move here so that would be the same as them as well?
I mean, having an active labor force that actually wants to do the job is really good. I don't know.
But that's the problem. We don't have the active labor. Well, that's the weird thing too, and that's weird to me with the Democrats is that they say, oh well, we need people here to pick our fruits and clean our toilets.
I'm not saying we need people here to pick our fruits. I would rather just have an actual clean process so they get the same labor regulations. I have to go to the caller though. Thank you, Olivia. All right, someone else call in. I would give immigrants the same rights, so we don't have that effect on the economy, very simply. Give a path to citizenship. Then we have no issue with threatening American work. Well, I'm poor too, so you guys can give me money. Hello.
Hey, how you doing, amigo?
You all right? How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Is my audio coming through fine?
Yep, all good. You sound perfect.
Sweet. I'm not really calling to disagree with you. I wanted to say there's a lot of like hate and back and forth being thrown, and I consider myself an independent that sits in the middle. I'm not really for, like when the election was happening and it was Kamala or Trump, I didn't really feel for either of them because neither of them had what I believe was the true interests of the American people at heart when there are a lot of big problems happening right now. And I don't know. I wanted to talk more in the middle because I don't feel like I'm a closet racist like the last guy, no offense. He really kept going back to immigration like it was a problem and not the fact like, okay, I want to touch up on his thing because he just finished talking. I read in the papers, in my local paper just yesterday, Amazon is going to be opening a warehouse near where I live. And the interesting thing about that was that it was only going to offer 70 new jobs.
Okay.
An entire warehouse, a distribution center, 70 people. That's not a lot. Like, I believe there are much greater problems in terms of the wealth disparity, us getting robbed blind, and like them distracting us, making us believe like they somehow turned the opiate crisis into an immigrant problem. And that like, oh, we need to worry about these people making fentanyl, and it's not Americans making fentanyl, it's coming in, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's not like people start on one and lead to the other. I don't believe people just take fentanyl. They take what they think is Xanax, or they take a perk, and it's like cut with something else, and that's the crisis. Like, I don't know. Then they just stop talking about it. And like the housing crisis right now, and like the last guy was on about like, oh, immigration's the problem. Like, no, we need people to build houses. Like, there is a trade crisis in America right now. We don't have fucking anybody that wants to build a fucking house. I mean, I used to work construction in St. Louis, man, and it's fucking bad. Like, it's not good. I don't know. I don't understand the problem. They really seem to be distracting and pointing us to so many other things when, like, the bottom line for the average American worker is just so shit. We don't have any money. Rent's so high.
The thing is that Americans are more likely to fight each other, and Donald Trump and all of his goons know that, so they could talk about a bunch of ridiculous social topics. If you've noticed, the Trump administration has not focused on literally any policy at all that would help Americans. They focused on all the social and cultural war topics that make the Americans, or that make the Trump supporters go, epic, bro. This is epic. This is epic, bro. The Gulf of America. Yeah, we're taking Gaza. Yeah, guys, we're winning again.
He's just trying to sidestep the laws because all the things that are protecting the Gulf.
It's all
Mexico,
a bunch of
which
bullshit.
is sitting on a giant oil reserve and also is a very delicate coastal system.
But it's a bunch of BS to cover up people's like critical thought. Like he talked about paper straws and trans people in sports. He blamed Biden on inflation, or he blamed inflation on Biden 2 days ago. He just wants to distract people from the actual problems that are happening. And Americans are not struggling enough to care. They're not struggling enough to really care about the material stuff yet.
Here's my shit. I just unplugged my headphones.
On a large scale, at least.
Is my audio still okay? I'm on the speaker now. All right, cool. That's the other reason I wanted to call in and talk is because I would like to remind everybody watching that I do not believe the divide is that wide. I would like to think in my heart, and I feel it, and I believe a lot of people feel it too, that we are a lot more united than we think, because the loudest voice is, of course, going to always get the most attention. But at the end of the day, rational individuals don't throw fucking tantrums like that. We don't cause problems like that. We'll show up when the time is fucking right, when we're needed. We're not just going to go out flailing, kicking, and thrashing. I believe there are a lot of rational individuals who see what's happening, but it's the fucking billionaires, because it's not just Musk. Musk is a part of a very select group of fucking rich, hyper-rich assholes like Bezos and Zuckerberg who are controlling the narrative of what we're allowed to see. Suddenly, when Trump is signing executive order after executive order after executive order after executive order, I am getting in my news feed videos recommended to me that are not even topping like 20,000 views, 30,000 views, when it used to be showing me shit that I could see, oh, this one has 5 million, this one has 6 million, this one has 10, this one is garnering attention. It's showing me relevant information that is being passed around, that was uploaded within the week, that people are paying attention to. Now suddenly I feel like I'm in an echo chamber. I need to fucking hunt for any honest information talking about it, where it's not something that's like, I feel like I'm being force fed. So I would just like to remind people that, like, don't get so angry and worked up about people who have different opinions. I really think that we're on the whole, because if you look at the courts and how they're battling this shit right now with all the litigation that's being held against the Trump administration, I have a lot of hope that, like, we will hold strong.
Well, okay, I will interject. I need to keep the show moving. I appreciate the words, but also the Trump administration just said today they're going to ignore court rulings. They're going to ignore the checks and balances of the U.S. government, and Americans are not willing to come together. I'm sorry, I don't share your optimistic. I don't. No. They're. I know, but that doesn't matter. Like, they are taking control of the U.S. government, and Americans don't care. Americans are weak and fragile, and they would rather argue about bullshit. And that's why I'm being tough on Americans. I think there is a lot of place to relate on, but no one wants to step up to the plate and put the work in to understand shit. They just want to fight in their own corners of the internet, isolated on their phones. And I want to challenge people, because I really don't see that happening in America. And I'm sick of being nice to people. I'm sick of having this system in which we're just like, oh, they don't know any better. No, it's time for you to know your shit. Like, for everyone watching, know your shit. Don't call in with a bunch of dumb shit. If I prove you wrong with a source, just read it, bro. Like, I'm done babying. You have to have some tough love eventually. I'm all about coming together, kumbaya. If someone calls me in and they're a completely moderate person, that's awesome. But for people who want a literal dictator, if they want to bypass the Constitution of the United States of America, they need to be put in their place verbally. It's just how it is.
I'm gonna go ahead and get off of here and let you run the show.
I appreciate you calling in.
Second wind, and to remind people that things they're bad, but like, just stay strong, man. We're cool. Keep it up.
Thank you. I agree.
Keep up the good work.
Have hope.
In you. Stay strong.
You helped me get a good breath. I was doing some stretches too. Thank you.
All right, have a good one.
Thank you too, man. Thank you. All right, phone line's open. Thank you for the $20. Thank you for $20. LS, thank you, LS, for $20. Jolah, politics on Cash App and PayPal and Venmo. Please consider donating there as well. Really appreciate it. Oh. Hello.
Hey, man, how's it going?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Great, man. Are we live?
Yep, we're live. Everyone can hear you.
Awesome. So basically, when I joined the stream, I seen the text had said that Trump is terrible, prove you wrong. So I think a good place to start would be, why do you think he's terrible?
Because he gets people to hate each other, divides our country, and makes people think with no critical thinking ability. He encourages us to just use slogans and yell at each other versus actually solving problems. I think that's probably my least favorite part about Trump, like on a personal level.
Okay. So you think he divides the country more than the other alternative choices, or do you think that he just, if you had to choose between, the two options that were given, I know my choice would, because I think about, division of the country as a really bad thing. Actually, I actually have a big problem with how the wealthy elites try to divide the poor people so that they don't rise up. I think that's the motivation of why we're divided so much, because I really think that's the reason. So when I make my decision on who to vote for, part of it has to do with the fact that I think Trump is more uniting than the opposition, because I really feel like it's the opposition that's fueling a lot of this rhetoric, and I feel like they're the ones that are pushing all the division. But maybe why do you feel like I'm wrong? What is the reason you feel like Trump is the guy that's causing the division in the country?
Well, as far as big money goes, he's been by far the most corrupt president in American history, and he put the richest man in the world in charge of the federal government. So I don't know how that really works with Trump. I care about getting money out of politics. I care about it when Democrats are in, when Republicans are in. So this is probably my least favorite time in American history as far as big money in politics since probably the 1800s, 1900s, because the concentration of wealth is insane. And really bad. Elon Musk is a conflict of interest. He's a walking conflict of interest. He is only interested in conflict, in fact. And also for Trump himself, he called Democrats communist, fascist, Marxist, socialist during the campaign trail. He said immigrants are poisoning the blood of America. He said that John Kelly, a four-star general and a gold star father whose son died in Afghanistan, he called him weak and pathetic in the same sentence, calling Vladimir Putin smart and strong. He says he loves how China and North Korea rule over their people with an iron fist. He has shared ambitions of wanting to be all-powerful and wishing he could force people to clap for him.
Musk? I'm sorry.
Donald Trump has said all of these things. He said he loves how China rules over the people with an iron fist. Things like that. So I mean, Trump is probably the most divisive president I can think of, and probably since Andrew Jackson.
I can see why I can see why half of America has that opinion about Trump. I think we live in a divided society. I know that you said that he has more big money behind him. Do you trust Statista.com? I'm not too familiar with stats, but this is just one interesting statistic that I saw the other day.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that site, but if you're going to cite like campaign contributions, Trump got most of his money from dark super PACs that we cannot see who the fundraisers were. So if you're going to look at like campaign contributions and regular PACs that are public, the super PACs are where Trump got most of his money from, like Musk and everything.
Okay, so you're saying that Trump has more money behind him. I'm not doubting that there's a lot of money behind Trump. I think there is.
And Musk, independent
How much would you
investigators.
estimate that went to Trump versus the Democrats?
I mean, just Elon Musk buying Twitter alone is the biggest investment into a presidential candidate in American history. So I don't really know if I can give a number.
Well,
I don't really care about the numbers, though. I care about the cabinet. I care about who's in the cabinet. I care about the policies they're doing. Trump is doing the most pro-big money and pro-corruption policies I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Well, okay, so this is where I'm coming from. What do you do for work, man? I don't know you too well, but what do you do for work?
Everything. I don't really talk about it.
Okay, that's cool.
I've done a lot of different work, though.
Cool. I'm a 1099 contractor with when I pay my taxes, I DoorDash, I have like a small company.
I DoorDash.
I'm 24 years old.
Yeah, DoorDash.
Awesome. I love DoorDash too, but look, so if the taxes go down on DoorDash, wouldn't supporting the side that's going for lower taxes, wouldn't that help us more?
Wait, why are taxes going down on DoorDash?
Because if you're getting if your businesses get taxed less under Trump, and you can, DoorDash is just an example, but if you run any business, there's a lot of businesses in my community. I'm from an immigrant community myself from Iraq, and to be honest with you, a lot of my community is entrepreneurs, and a lot of them are very pro-Trump because during the Trump presidency, when they got those tax cuts on on corporations, and with all the talk he has about lowering interest rates and everything, I just feel like it's more beneficial for us like it's more like populism at the end of the day. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, no, because he wants to give like a vast majority of the tax cuts to the ultra wealthy, who are then going to be able to inflate our economy and hyper accelerate it, and get most of the benefits from it. The money that we get is going to be nothing compared to the inflation that the tax cuts for the wealthy cause. And also, his tariffs are a tax on small businesses. That hurts small businesses and American people the most. If he's going to tariff, like aluminum, for example, is used in so many different things. So that's going to increase prices a lot across the board for businesses. And that's why with manufacturing, Trump's administration actually saw less American manufacturing jobs. Although he used tariffs to say he was going to protect American business, the input costs from the different goods the small businesses and big businesses had to import, that input cost going up actually made them cut workers overall in Trump's administration from the tariffs. So like doing tariffs and doing tax cuts for the ultra wealthy, he abandoned no taxes on tips. He abandoned no taxes on Social Security, by the way. Or whatever that policy was. But yeah, he abandoned those two things too.
Okay, so from my perspective, like so one thing I'll say with in respect to the tariffs, I'm not a big fan of tariffs in general. I'm more of a free trade type of guy, yeah. But I would say that I'm not the most educated. You seem pretty educated on tariffs. So aren't other countries tariffing American, like vital American industries? And also I wanted to say about like the manufacturing, like I know Trump promises a lot of manufacturing jobs. I think he's playing to his base, to be honest. But the truth of the matter, in my opinion, is the future of manufacturing is going to be done primarily by robots. It's not going to be mostly like all these manufacturing jobs. It's like a Band-Aid. But I think that, like in China, they're teaching their youth to be more into computers and science and STEM. I think, it's a cultural problem in America that Trump doesn't really have control of. But I think a lot of the things he does are really good. Like I see a lot of his actions and the way he, like his platform, I just believe that it's more morally good. Even though there's a lot of things you can say about him and the people around him, I'm not saying they're angels, but like just when I look at the choices, I just feel like I don't know, like don't other countries tariff American goods, to great extents? Like
yeah,
a lot
I'm
of
sure,
like our cars.
But we shouldn't just do it across the board. It should be still targeted. It's still bad economic policy. So if another country does it to us, I know Trump wants to automatically do reciprocal tariffs, but doing across the board tariffs in general hurts our economy. So it doesn't, like, he talks about like a trade deficit like it's a bad thing. A trade deficit does not matter. In fact, stronger economies have trade deficits because we consume more than we produce, but that's because we don't do as much base level manufacturing. Other countries have people in the coal mines and cobalt mines and doing really bad factory jobs. In America, we kind of shipped those factory jobs away and we import that kind of stuff now. So when it comes to all of those topics, I can hear, like, going to a more modern approach as well, but like the robots are taking mid-level management positions more than anything. They're going to take management, they're going to take programmers, they're going to lessen hiring in the tech sector. They're actually going to have to keep humans in factories longer because it's harder to make robots to do physical labor like that, but it's easier to make programs like AI to just like automate jobs away. So the biggest threat right now is for the mid-level people in society, the white-collar people.
Okay, I agree with that, and the reason I agree partially because I work with AI. It's actually something that I'm a big computer nerd, bro. So I have an AI company where we do AI voice agents, and we already have a lot of success. I have like 100 clients right now that I'm, basically I've only been marketing for a month. I got like 100 clients, a lot of interest. I'm building out the systems for them, and AI is making it crazy easy. I'm not like a spectacular programmer by any means, but it does, in my opinion, I think AI is going to replace the mid-level engineers. I've seen Mark Zuckerberg talk about it, and I believe it from my own experience because I'm coding things I never thought possible. But one thing also, in my office, there's a guy that is really big in the robotics industry. He just got funding for $3 million to produce his first robot. And all he does is right now is focusing on commercial warehouses and manufacturing and automating tasks with robots. And when you think about it, if you can make a one-time investment as a business, as a factory. I used to work at a sunroof factory. You know, they had like 300 employees, and I can't see one good reason why a company of that magnitude would not just get a loan, finance a bunch of robots, and completely wipe their overhead and have the robots do 90% of the work. I really, truly believe that the manufacturing jobs that Trump promises are not really, you know, I see what's really going to happen, I think, but maybe I'm wrong, but I just see people and the robots they're building and everything. So I think I know where it's going with it.
Yeah,
but
there's a lot of energy though. It's scary because they'll probably kill human beings off before they give us like a universal basic income right now. That's why I'm afraid of how Trump is so entrenched in big money, and our system is more corrupt now than ever before because we need power in the system to make sure they don't kill us off when they have robots to replace us. Because they will do that. They only care about making money. They really don't care about human lives. That's why we have slavery in other countries still. And look at China. Like, the way they treat their people is insane. They have a complete security state. You can't even talk to people in China right now because of it. And that's what Elon Musk wants. That's what Peter Thiel wants. That's what JD Vance wants. They want to end democracy globally. And I could send you, if you Google, what's his name? They want to end democracy. The main guy, someone put in chat the guy's name, that Curtis Yarvin. Curtis Yarvin is their big ideological thinker. They believe the world should be ruled by techno monarchs and a bunch of different corporate states. So yeah, they believe in killing democracy globally. So I would look into that.
Who
That's
are you saying believes in that? You're saying the Chinese?
Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, they believe in that, and JD Vance.
Well, the thing is, I mean, I could see how someone could have that opinion, but do you really truly think that Elon Musk is? But like, I really think Elon Musk has you know, part of me, I'm not going to say I trust the guy because I don't trust any billionaire, to be honest with you. But I will say that, you know, at least in the moment, I think that the changes he made with Twitter and the ideologies that he preached is a lot more healthy for society. Like, it's more true to our founding doctrine. And
Twitter's terrible right now. No, they're going the opposite direction right now, bro. They're stealing our country from us right now. They're stealing our country. And I can't really go into that right now, and we can call back and discuss that at a later
point. For sure, man.
Point,
it was a good talk, man. You're pretty base, bro. You remind me of a guy called Destiny. I don't know.
Oh, God.
I don't know if you heard of Destiny.
Oh, God. How dare you say that
I don't
to me?
mean that as an insult, bro. I'm just saying
you're
very smart, bro.
You're blocked.
But... yeah. No,
all right, thanks for calling in, man.
Debate, bro. For sure.
All right, have a good night, man. That was my 13th reason, bro. And 14th reason. Holy crap. Oof.
Call from
Brave Painting.
To accept, press.
Hello.
Jolah loves Wiener. That's why he hates Trump.
Okay. Brave Painting. The business is called Brave Painting. Thank you for calling in, Brave Painting. We can get the area code as well if you'd like. I'm just kidding. Cool. All right, call in again, brother. Jesus. Thank you for the $10. I forgot to say thank you in the super chat. Oh, God. Thank you for $10, Rugged, and thank you for $20 LS again. Thank you, Rugged. I think you're new here. I haven't seen you before, but thank you. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Howdy, what's up?
Hey, my name's Kenneth. Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you good. What's up?
Hey, I saw your live stream. Just making sure I'm checking in the right place.
This is it. Jolah Talks Politics. You're live.
So my name is Kenny. I'm 24. I'm from California. I have a lot of questions. I have less views because I feel like I've been watching for about 30 minutes and I have a lot of views in common with you, but I have a question about, from the perspective as someone who's highly is against what's happening in the country right now. I've been trying to take a more critical perspective on what got us here, and I wanted to know if you had any, I forget what the word is, but concessions. Yeah, you had any concessions for the liberal mistakes or possibilities, like things we could have done better, because I've been seeing criticism like we were sanctimonious and we divided people, or like, some callers have that vibe. So I just wanted to know what you thought.
When they say Democrats are the cause for divide in America, the same people say Barack Obama caused racism or made racism work. Americans are afraid to have tough conversations with each other. Americans are afraid to have conversations about race and gender and pronouns. It makes them insecure. So I think Democrats have bad messengers for sure. But the reason I'm mad at Democrats is because they're not fighting the enemy, which is fascism and authoritarian, effectively. So like the conservative ideology of dehumanizing immigrants, for example, calling them illegal aliens, you have to get out of the country. That's really bad. But Democrats never provided a good counter narrative to that. And I don't think the messengers for Democrats have been effective. And they kind of kicked out Bernie Sanders when he could have been the messenger. He would have killed Donald Trump at that election. But now we're here a few years later, and I still don't think Democrats have effective messaging. And also, I wish they had more policies. It'd be nice to have some type of universal health care on their policy list. Even if that was a universal system like Australia, which is a mixed system where you keep private insurance, but you also have everyone guaranteed to have some form of health care as a baseline. So I think Democrats could be more aspirational, be more motivational, have better speakers, don't have a bunch of 89-year-olds being your PR team, being the person on TV all the time. So yeah, I mean, the missteps along the way, being too elitist. And it's hard, though, because Republicans are the most elitist, corrupt party of all time right now. In American history, there's never been more blatant corruption in the Oval Office. But I say that also noting Democrats have their own corruption issues, not nearly as bad. Not even in the same world or galaxy as the corruption Republicans are doing right now. But still, I'd rather the Democrats be a clear contradiction. I'd rather Democrats say, you know what, we're not taking billionaire dollars anymore. We're going to be fully anti-corruption. We're going to make every politician as a mandate. It's a rule if you're in Congress, you have to report your financials. Donald Trump hid his financials. Mike Johnson hides his financials. J.D. Vance hides his financials. It's shady as shit. If Democrats had a policy of transparency, banning Congress people from sharing stocks, if they took policy positions that were truly anti what Republicans are doing, I think we'd fare really good moving forward. But they need to actually make that shift, and they're not doing it.
Yeah, I was really disappointed. I guess I was 8 years old, so I was 8 years old when Barack was elected. From my perspective, the trajectory that we're on, it's not at all what I predicted, I'll be honest. Especially being in a nice little, more liberal area like California, I'm from San Diego. Every generation of my family has been in the military.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a certain part of it that, it hurts. I don't know if it hurts the same for everyone, but when you're here because of a chain of men, died, it's, it makes you look at life differently. But for my family, that really goes back to us. Even though I'm a Black African American, that goes all the way back to the Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
And it includes Guam, World War II, Operation Desert Storm, all that stuff. There's a part of me that kind of sees. I don't see, my generation especially. We're not really pro-military and pro-imperialism. A lot of us. But there is the weird double-edged sword where we are the world's largest military. One thing that is really alarming, that's maybe even more alarming than the social state of America, is what you were talking about earlier, is the technocracy that is kind of being quietly instituted while nobody stops it. As in, if anybody has the basics down of they can do a certain projection of, you have a certain amount of wealth and you can pay for robots and AI to keep that wealth where it is. We see an example of that with BlackRock and Aladdin, which they have an AI that's so advanced at tracking assets and liabilities and stuff that the U.S. government goes to it for advice. And to me, all that, it's like how will there ever be class mobility after this generation?
There won't be. It'll be a permanent upper class and permanent underclass. That's the really scary thing that's happening right now, is they're trying to fully seal the entire globe state. They want to kill democracy globally. So how do we stand up for it? It's hard because people are voting away their own rights. Yeah.
And let me make sure I had one more thing besides technocracy and the social thing. Oh yeah, I think I'll go back to the social thing. There's this thing that it hurts. It actually hurts like you don't know what. But there's this two-sided component. I'm actually not 100% sure if I believe in reparations or if I'm being necessarily kind of gaslit into not believing in reparations. And here's really where it gets weird, because I'm a Black American, and you know, I don't necessarily like, I do want there to be a space where we aren't a racist country. But it's weird because the people who were in charge, they instituted the racial ontology upon which everyone began to relate themselves like to the white man. And then now after affirmative action, after years of Jim Crow, and after all that, they kind of want to pretend like after affirmative action, after you know, like or as if Jim Crow, and after all that, like as if like they could come up with some situation where someone somewhere wasn't as affected by slavery, that they should do nothing about it and never formally address it. I just wanted to say that that's probably insane, and that's why part of why the people who behave in ways you don't understand do behave that way.
Yeah, you could tie back the regions of like from slavery leading up through Reconstruction and Jim Crow and wherever else, redlining, skinhead towns, KKK towns. You can trace back certain viewpoints to certain regions. You could even go back to Germany right now. It's really interesting. The far right parties in Germany right now are all located in the areas that the Nazis first won their elections at in like historic Germany, before Nazi Germany. So it's really interesting to see the way that these cultures spread. And you know, the big thing is I hope people can transcend the social issues and come together to fight for a common interest. But
no, I know.
Yeah, tell them you're talking about politics on the internet. It's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's awesome. The hard part for me is I'm always thinking about what I can do. The hard part for me is a certain aspect in which if I am to make a change in life from the perspective of someone who's 23, 24, I kind of have to see what went wrong and try to fix it. I feel like a large part of it, because I'm listening to your callers, sometimes your callers are calling in and then they kind of like call in, tell you they don't know something, and then ask you for the means to acquire that information, which is fine. I'm just saying, I to a certain extent, I underestimated like how much they really just take advantage of people who have less information. Because then you tell them, you give them the source of the information, they're like, you know what, you're right. That just doesn't make logical sense.
Yeah, but even when they're proved wrong, they get too uncomfortable to be able to admit it, and they don't want to admit they were wrong, and then their identity's tied up in it, and then they feel embarrassed, and then you lose them completely, because if they feel wrong, they feel feminine or whatever, or weak, which is like really annoying, and then they just keep on going down the same spiral, so it's really difficult to deal with. But yeah, well, thank you for calling in. I hope to see you around the channel more. We have these conversations a lot. Yeah, they're fun.
Yeah, thank you. I've subscribed, so I'll see you again soon. Have a good night.
All right, I appreciate it. Have a good night, man. Thank you. Okay, let me look at this TikTok live to see if the audio's fine. Okay, let me look at this TikTok live to see if the audio's fine. Okay, the audio seems decent on the TikTok live. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Okay, I think I need a little bit of a break. Yeah, let's talk about slavery, and I want to talk about racism tonight, dude. Let's talk about slavery and reparations. That's my favorite topic. Okay, thank you for the $10, and I'm sorry I cannot accept the call. I saw someone donate $10, saying let me call in. Very demanding of you. But the rules are, and I'm sorry, but the rules are, if you want to call in, YouTube is my third job. Okay, if you have extra money, please support the show. Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal, Jolah Politics. That goes right to my bank account, okay? Really appreciate it. But if you donate $10 with your name and want to jump ahead of line, it needs to go to Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal, because then you can send your first name and your phone number. And I have too many people watching sometimes, too many people. So I'm not going to look through Super Chats and try to find your name and your number, and I don't want you to share that info publicly. But if you donate through Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal, and minimum $10 with your first name and your phone number, I'll guarantee that you get a spot calling. You don't have to compete with all the random people calling. So, just how it works, bucko. Let's see, some real quick. All right, let me end this for a second. Epoch. Up until 70 years ago, it was American policy to limit the wealth of an entire race by subversive policies that didn't always sound racist, but they had very racist outcomes. All right, I'm taking a little break, guys. Taking a little break. All right. Taking a little break. I'll take callers in a second. America isn't a democracy. Maybe learn what we are before you say America has better democracies. I hate everything, bro. Saying that we don't have a democracy in America is the most low IQ, dumb take a human being could possibly utter. Utter like a cow. It's just insane that you can still say such dumb things. Like, there's no way you haven't been corrected on that before. There's no way someone has not told you that that's stupid to say that. There's no way, right? America's not a democracy, it's a republic. Hi, Barbara. Shut up, Vandred. Barbara's not green. Barbara's not green. I can't see Barbara. Well, reparations now are never going to happen because we're going to... Barbara's here in the regular chat. Someone said, still hate your face. Bye. Thank you. All right. I need a cool down, bro. I'll take more calls then. I just need a little bit of a rest. The calls have sucked. Not from like a person perspective, but from a content perspective. It hasn't been very not very flowy tonight. Nice. Drink water. No. I'm gonna flap my gums all around. No water for me. What TikTok titles and stuff works? That one caller was definitely racist. Take it for $5. True. Weimar Republic had laws banning hateful content. Did the Weimar Republic cause... Did the Weimar Republic not have enough regulation? I still think, I mean, even if this is true, I would still say it's their concern over it is still justified. It depends. Censorship alone is not effective. You can argue that taking Donald Trump off of Twitter and stuff actually helped him because no one saw how unhinged he was. Maybe it's just like you shouldn't even do any legal action against them. Yeah, giving them a martyr narrative, increasing their appeal. I think banning Trump did help him. But still, the political instability is caused by people seizing on free speech. I'm not saying that they could have passed a law to fix it, but still, that's the reason they have concern over fascist rhetoric, regardless, and they're debating on, oh, should we regulate something? Should we not? That's the big debate. It's like, oh crap, it might be happening again. Thank you, Sri, for the gifted Jolah membership. Thank you, I appreciate it. If you want low-class whites to never work again, do reparations. What are you talking about? SNL just finished? SNL's tonight? Well, Hitler was only put in jail for 9 months because Hitler, there were pro-Nazi judges after the coup. He only got 9 months and no one else got jail time, I'm pretty sure, because the Nazis were the judges were pro-Nazi at the time. After they tried coupping the government. And yeah, they're master propagandists. There's a good chance that these leaders are just wrecking balls. And you have to hope the system is able to survive and withstand regardless of what the system is like. Oh, man. All right, I'm going to redirect everyone to the top 5 things to criticize Trump for. Gay, and gay. That's all 5. Take it for $2. I'm not drinking water, dude. You have Dr. Pepper or you have water? I drink the Dr. Pepper. No water. I don't want water. How dare you put that upon me? Did someone put money on Cash App or Venmo? Call in. Okay, no one donated to call in, so I'm going to take a little break. Okay. I'm redirecting you to the horizontal stream. Thank you for the $2. Thank you for $2, Kane. Well, Raistlin thinks racism doesn't exist, I heard. Oh no, the world is at war? Did a world war happen? Okay, I'm gonna redirect you to the horizontal. Maybe we'll watch the Pisco debate. Did you guys watch the Pisco debate? Redirect. Yeah, we can do that. We can watch the Pisco debate. We'll do that next. I'm going to redirect you to the horizontal, then restart it in like 20 minutes and watch the Pisco debate. Going over to the horizontal. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You saw the second half? He is an idiot. I watched a lot of it. America has given reparations out to a lot of people. But the black people don't deserve it because America. Raceland, you said that. I'm just using my free speech. Absolutism. I'm using my free speech to tell the world about you, man. There is there's a debate. Like, for example, there's a debate that if you're going to take legal action against, like, hateful speech, then you need to have it be, like, strong action or no action. You know what I mean? So the conversation about Germany and about America and about all these countries, the conversation is really, like, if you give a light sentence, like 5 months, or if it's like Trump, if you try him for a bunch of trials and he gets out or he doesn't go to jail at all, then you're just making him more of a martyr, more of an influential figure. So it's like, you either need to have a society where you can, like, throw the book on him, whatever the wording is, or you can't really charge it at all, because we see it work in other countries that deny fascism or that deny martial law, like in South Korea and stuff. They'll put like rich leaders in jail, bro, if they break it. They'll put rich leaders in jail. They don't even care. We see you, Barbara. Hey, Cam. All right, we'll watch the Pisco debate in a minute. Is it still on that channel or is it offline now? Can I still go back and watch it? Oh, the Parker kids are moving into YouTube.
Right, well, there are people saying that in the chat. Maybe
the Parker kids, the TikTok kids are moving onto YouTube, bro.
Policy that you like?
What?
So I wouldn't even. First off, nice. I wouldn't even go.
They not like us. They not like us. They not like us. Certified lover boy, certified. Ooh. Russia expert. Oh, man. I'll watch this first and then get the Pisco.
Joining me now to discuss this, CNN contributor and former CNN Moscow bureau chief Jill Doherty. Thank you for being here. I want to ask, what do you see as the most important issue for the U.S. to raise during these talks with Russia in Saudi Arabia on Tuesday?
Well, ultimately, I think the most important thing overall is long-term security. I mean, they eventually will probably come up with some sort of immediate ceasefire or whatever you want to call it. But nobody really believes that the ceasefire is going to last until you know where you're going after the ceasefire, or at least during the ceasefire. Because the question is really, would Russia be able to come back after some type of period and perhaps you attack Ukraine again? Or as some of the countries in the region believe or fear, that they might actually, try to invade or move into another country in the region. Now, the Russians say we have no intention, but still, this really is a question, short term. And obviously, Paula, right now, there's a lot of short term going on. I mean, the pace of this is very quick. There aren't a lot of details, but the details have to be clear if you're going to have long-term security.
What do you make of the fact that Ukraine will not be present at these talks in Saudi Arabia, but instead will be part of dual negotiations in Kyiv?
I think if you talk to President Zelensky, probably off the record, he would be very concerned. I think the Ukrainians, there's no question, feel that they are being at least put in second place at this point, because a lot of the immediate dialogue is between the United States and Russia, and specifically between Putin and Trump. And Zelensky is feeling that he is somehow, the second thought in the administration, not the first. So that is a problem, but he does not have, at this point, a really strong negotiating position. The war has been going very poorly at this point.
Not
at
a very
least
strong.
It's kind of in a situation of
really? It's been going bad. He's not in a position to negotiate. That's crazy. I don't know why.
Stasis. And so, what does he do? He has to make the best of a...
Wait, is it called a war? Why are they saying war? Is it called a war now? Is it called a war?
Bad situation. And he was counting originally on the United States to really, stand by them. Now, the administration, there are a lot of, as you can see, I'm saying now, but because there are a lot of sides to this, but the administration would say, no, they will be part of this. Don't worry. But I think the Ukrainians are worried. When do they come into the negotiations? When everything's already on the table and they don't get a way to define where everything's going?
Well, Trump's special envoy to Russia and Ukraine says there will need to be concessions from Russia. What do you think that could look like?
I am not quite sure what that would be. At this point, it appears in public statements, at least initially by the administration and especially administration officials, Secretary Hegseth, the defense secretaries especially, that Russia is going to get a promise of no NATO membership for Ukraine. It will probably also get territorial concessions, meaning the territory that it has taken from Ukraine will remain under Russian control. They are looking at economic sanctions. You just mentioned that it would be huge for Russia to get a lot of those economic sanctions rolled back. But so far, I truly don't see a lot that Russia is being asked to give at this point. That said, there aren't a lot of specific, concrete details of what we're talking about. There's a lot of talk, we've got to end it and end it quickly, but exactly how is still a big question.
Well, European leaders will be holding an emergency summit tomorrow in response to the U.S. leaving them out from these peace talks. How do you think the Kremlin views this push from Europe to unify without the support of the U.S.?
Oh, well, I mean, if you look at the Russian media, they're very happy about this because they feel that the Europeans are panicking, that the Europeans aren't quite sure. They feel that they too are being, let's see, left out of the initial negotiations or discussions, which they are. And they also feel that they are the people who will be called upon, the Europeans, to carry out some type of ceasefire. So they are worried as well. And if Europe is worried and they are concerned about the United States and they're trying to get their act together and be unified, that is exactly where Vladimir Putin wants them. He wants them divided, confused, and worried. And so right now, I think Putin probably feels very good about this. You can just hear in Fred's report, the quote from the Kremlin. They're pretty happy about all this.
Before we let you go, today marks 1 year since the death of Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny. His family gathered at his grave earlier today. I want to play a clip of one of the last interviews he gave for the CNN film documentary, Navalny.
My message for the situation when I'm killed is very simple: not give up.
Do me a favor, answer this one in Russian.
И здесь у меня просто очевидная вещь. Ну, не сдавайтесь. Не надо, нельзя сдаваться. Если это произошло, это означает, что мы необыкновенно сильны в этот момент, раз они решили меня убить.
What is the state of opposition in Russia right now, Jill?
Well, they are completely excluded from any type of public participation in Russia at this point. Nobody can go on the streets to protest, although there were lines.
Remember, J.D. Vance said the biggest threat to the globe is the lack of freedom of speech in Europe.
At this point, nobody can go on the streets to protest, although there were lines for the grave of Alexei Navalny in Moscow today. And that, I think, is significant. But the problem with the opposition right now is they don't really have a leader who is as strong and charismatic as Navalny was. And, you know, he is gone. His wife valiantly, you know, speaks around the world, but she's not Navalny. And so I think at this point, the, you know, the opposition would really like to have somebody with that, you know, the sheer political force and...
Yeah, they want someone to sign up and die. Like, good luck. Like, great, you're gonna go fall out of a window and get poisoned, or both. Like,
Freedom for All. We have been proud to sponsor Modern Day Debate.
All right, one second. All right, and changing my titles, putting the shorts stream back up. Shorts stream is back up. So this is a conservative commentator and also a friend of the show. Pisco, debating Trump versus Biden. And I'm gonna hang out and watch it. You guys can hang out and watch it with me if you'd like. Good, I don't like it in here. Taking Greenland. Woo! Taking Greenland. All right, 1 second. Let's see. 1.10 speed. 1.1 speed.
debates, DebateCon 5 for the last 2 days, and man, it has been awesome. I'm looking forward to coming back next year. Want to give first a big thank you to Dr. James himself for organizing this and the team at Modern Day Debate for making this happen. The conversations keep getting livelier and livelier. We just keep hearing all the time the after discussion at the hotel about how both sides, even on plenty of these debates, have stood for things. People have learned a lot of new elements of things that they're going to bring back to their peers and colleagues. It's just been such a fun, great learning experience. So, guys, if you want to learn more about Atheists for Liberty and what we do nationwide, go to atheistforliberty.org or follow us at Atheist Liberty or atheistforliberty.org on all major social
atheistforliberty.org.
platforms. Without further ado, I'm going to hand the microphone off to Sean Semenko of Uncensored America.
Org. Interesting. Educational nonprofit. Contact them for me. I'll go to their events. When's their next event?
All right, guys. Last
Let
event.
me in, please.
How are we feeling?
I'm
We
desperate.
excited?
I'm desperate.
All right. Love to hear it. Love seeing all the love for free speech, conversations, debates, all that good stuff here tonight. Because frankly, a lot of times when you're on the internet or when you're talking to people out in the real world too, it seems like nobody wants to have these conversations. Everybody's all in their echo chambers. They don't want to talk or have anything.
Boring.
And round applause to the man up stuff. Oh, we might camp and a con.
Oh, come on,
so
bro.
if you want to go,
very much.
There you go.
Thanks for coming out, folks. We are thrilled for this main event debate. Before we get to that, I want to do a couple of quick housekeeping things. If you signed up for the VIP and thus you're getting the signed emblem page, we will give those out at the end, so don't forget. And I'll give you a reminder then as well, but just keep that on your mind. Also, one sponsor that has not been mentioned yet is Manifold. It's the world's largest social prediction market online. They have sponsored DebateCon 5.
Well, there might not be as many bots in the shorts stream for this. They don't usually watch this. I'll be surprised if we get viewers on the short stream. I'll be very surprised.
We are thrilled to have them, and they are linked in the description box. In particular, you can predict the outcome of who wins this very debate.
Bro, that's so
right now
cringe.
if you're watching home live right now. The way
You can
this is
debate anything.
determined, namely,
How
the
can
way
you
we
debate
determine
who
the winner
wins?
is by a hand poll. So,
A hand
if you
poll?
would say, hey, I actually kind of
Wait, so you're going off of it's a betting market on a live debate, and it goes off of a hand poll from an audience of random people who might be very ideologically biased. So, like, how can you even bet on that? Dude, you can bet on literally everything, bro. I can't stand
I
it.
think that Trump's policies are better for America. And you, in other words, agree with Sean. Would you slip your hand up in the air? And oh, Sean, if you could do me a favor, and so many Seans. So in other words, Sean Fitzgerald's.
All right, sounds good. I'll put my timer on. So in 1973, Richard Nixon fired Elliot Richardson and the Deputy Attorney General because the subpoena that had been issued by the special counsel in the Watergate matter had been resisted by Richard Nixon. He didn't want it to be done. And it was considered one of the most profound constitutional crises in the history of the country. Nowadays, we don't even look twice at the scale of the corruption that Donald Trump has put our country in. It is an absolute disgrace that we have, for example, the sitting mayor of New York doing a corrupt quid pro quo, a political quid pro quo, to do political favors for the sitting commander-in-chief in exchange for his personal freedom. I don't hear Sean to defend the mayor in terms of his corruption. Sean will acknowledge that Mayor Adams is corrupt, and yet Sean is quite all right, quite fine with, or apparently willing to say that it's not corrupt, or that that this corruption should be overlooked in favor of some political preference. It is absolutely scandalous. The level of infiltration of the executive branch into the legislative prerogatives, deleting wholesale agencies like the CFPB, deleting U.S. aid that was statutorily approved. You might disagree, for example, with some of the funding decisions by your congresspeople, but those are congresspeople's decisions to make. Donald Trump's decision to completely halt all federal funding, all spending whatsoever. This is a infiltration. It is a attack on our Constitution. And
so far the rhetoric is very he'll probably settle in, but it sounds a little bit all over the place. He's not really nailing down on key attack points, key words that can really just be a big emphasis, such as, Elon Musk, richest man in the world, so many conflicts of interest, defense contractor. I know he's going to say later, like friends with China, rampaging through our government, zero proof of any transparency and fraud, etc. Going right into the Eric Adams stuff is a little bit weird with no context. You have to know about that story to care about it. Talking in general about Trump abandoning any promises of helping the economy. He just focuses on paper straws and, social war topics, cultural war topics. I don't know if this is the best opening. But yeah, you gotta, I never did an in-person debate before, so it would be nerve-wracking.
And nothing that Joe Biden did in his entire 4 years in office pales at all in comparison to what's going on there. They told us in their Project 2025 handbook what they were planning to do.
Bringing up
what
Joe
they want to do
Biden.
is centralize authority, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're doing.
You probably just like start off and say the core foundations of our country's freedom is the checks and balances, co-equal branches. Go right into that. Maybe have stories about the illegal freezes that are more low-level rhetoric, right? Where you talk about there's farmers right now having their resources cut off. Rural health clinics right now. There's hospitals where kids are dying because of these dumb cutoffs. There's American families being stranded in other countries who were representing the American government. Their U.S. aid apps shut off, and they had no resources to get back to America, escaping by the skin of their teeth. Donald Trump's immigration, accidentally detaining U.S. vets and families that are citizens because they just care about getting their numbers up. They don't care about violent crime. They care about just getting numbers like ESPN stats. I just feel like there's not enough direct emotional messaging or something.
And illegal firings of inspectors.
And Pisco's going to be right. But you need to tell people a little bit about the facts, but also why they should care about it. So the inspectors generals, you have to really really pound in why that matters. Why is bureaucracy inherently anti-corruption? But you have to say the word, like, imagine like a person that like doesn't know that many big words. You're talking to a new person who never heard of politics before. This person never heard of politics before. Maybe a very basic understanding. They vote, but they don't know much. How do you explain it to that person? That's probably the big goal here rhetorically for winning like an argument like this.
General, they're doing illegal firings of independent agencies. And why? To make the functioning of the bureaucracy stop. What Donald Trump wants to do is make it so.
But okay, so Americans right now, the right wing can poison political terms, poison terms in general. So making the bureaucracy stop is a positive thing to a majority of Americans. So you need to say why it's bad to make the bureaucracy stop. Pisco is going to be correct here, but when it comes to the rhetoric, why is it bad to make bureaucracy stop? They like that. Elon Musk, why is it bad for him to be in control of these departments? Americans like that. A lot of Americans think he is still the rocket, space, Tony Stark guy, a super genius that's dedicating his time to humanity. A lot of Americans still believe that. A majority believe bureaucracies are bad, or bureaucracy is bad in general. So the bureaucracy dying, a lot of Americans will cheer that on. So you have to really... what you just said right there might make people disagree with you just off the face of it.
He determines what his money is spent on. He determines whether or not people are investigated politically. Joe Biden never, ever did anything like that. I am willing and happy to acknowledge certain actions that Joe Biden did that I do not agree with, that I've even called corrupt. I've called his pardoning of his own family corrupt. I'm willing to do that. But think about this. The sitting commander-in-chief, the President of the United States, let out 1,500 terrorist thugs who attacked our capital. Possibly the single most corrupt action taken by a president in the history of the Union. We have a president who supported these terrorists, these maniacs who attacked our congresspeople and tried to overthrow the election. Some indicted for and convicted of seditious conspiracy. And you guys think it's a fucking joke. It's not a joke. These people...
See, seditious conspiracy sounds funny to people. And he's like, you think it's a joke. That's just the way it comes off. That's why I always go back to the other appeals, such as these are known child predators in there. There's some known child predators that Trump pardoned. They knew their criminal record, and Trump still knowingly released them back out into the streets. And guess what they did? They tried soliciting more minors. A guy beat the crap out of his 3-year-old kid. Did January 6th in jail. We have his record. Pardoned him. This guy is stopped by the cops and killed a couple days later. I forget if that's the same case of the guy that beat up the kid. But still, like bringing those examples, really emotional examples that people will really understand, because like seditious conspiracy to overthrow the integral, like those words are just not going to hit as hard for a general audience.
tried to upend the constitutional order, and now he's put out his deniable thugs into the world. Some of them literally pedophiles.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Yes. I'm gonna say one of those Destiny type things. Pisco's been watching my channel
recently. And what is this all for? What is the purpose?
Dude, Pisco, he hit it. He did it. He hit
The
it.
purpose is to install
He did
a
it.
king. That's what he wants to be. And I'm warning you right now. He wants to be a king. And he wants to have the authorities of a king.
Hell yeah.
You hear it in what he talks about. He just tweeted the other day, quoting fucking Napoleon. And you guys think it's a joke. He's turning our country into Hungary. Joe Biden never did anything like that. And if you want to go down the policies, I'm happy to do it. Happy to talk about, I'm a liberal. I'm going to put my, cards on the table. You guys know that. So I'm going to prefer Democratic policies over.
So instead of saying like, he's posting pictures, I'm going to be really nitpicky, by the way, because we're going to be really hard on Pisco with rhetoric, okay? Because he's super smart, and we like Pisco, okay? But when he says, Donald Trump is posting pictures of Napoleon, and you think it's a joke, that sounds like a meme. You think it's a joke. You're kidding right now. You think it's a joke. You think it's a game. He's posting pictures. He's literally Twitter posting. He's Twitler. He's Hitler posting. He is Hitler posting. He's dictator posting on Maine. And you think it's a joke. I would rather say something such as like, you must realize the current push by this administration is fundamentally against the core founding principles of this country that our founding fathers put into motion based off what they learned running from a monarch. And you want to go back there over bullshit. Like, that's the really simple way you really hit hard there.
MAGA policies, but how has your life meaningfully improved at all in the time that Donald Trump has taken office? Have prices gone down? He promised on day one to make prices go down. He's a fucking liar because what he cares about is not efficiency. What Elon Musk cares about is not efficiency. What they care about is taking down this country's bureaucracy, taking down our agencies, and stopping Congress from doing its job. And
No, don't say bureaucracy. They care about taking down the agencies that were investigating him. They care about taking down, agencies that are meant to restrict corruption. They're here to take down anyone in the government who stands up to them, including Reagan and Bush and even Trump appointees that they want to now purge from the government if they're not complete loyalists. Don't say you have to just think about how people are viewing this.
And taking over. That's what he wants. And what's coming next is so predictable. He is gearing up for, as they all have done, and as the Chief Justice of the United States, someone who I disagree with a lot on, has warned about, he's going to defy the courts. That's what they're prepping for. And what are you guys going to do when he does? What are you going to do, Sean? Are you going to call for his impeachment when he defies a court openly? Basically, he's already violating court orders. There was a U.S. District Court out of Rhode Island where they acknowledged, yes, he violated the order, the plain text of the order, and where it was open and obvious, there was no excuse for it. And so that's what they're prepping for next.
Yeah, someone in the comments, they just said spending money wisely. How bad is that? And it's like, they believe in the fairy tale. They believe in the reality TV show they're being sold. They're stupid. And I only call them stupid so they break out of the mind virus that they're in. But like, they believe anything they hear on social media from their daddy Trump. They're Musk munchers and Trump sexuals. So how do we like really hit these points and make a different counter narrative about these different topics? Because you're arguing in a way like you want to protect institutions, but if they already have a negative view of the institutions, like most Americans do, because Republicans are really good at muddying the waters, how do we kind of go against that?
Next. And these people are going to defend it all the way. They're going to make these absurd comparisons to Biden student loans, absurd comparisons to overreaches by the Obama administration. I'm not here for it. I'm here for the Republic, for the Constitution, and that's why Joe Biden's policies are incredibly better than...
And someone else just said, you would fight the guy who comes in and saves you money for free. You would fight the guy that's coming and saving you money for free. You guys are easily scammed. I gotta get a car dealership or something. I could scam you so easily. You believe literally anything, gullible Gus. You'll believe anything. You are so weak and pathetic, bro. You are so weak and pathetic. Yeah, bro, let me just look through your bank account. I'll help you manage your finances. What is your routing number again? Oh, thank you. Dude, you're gonna get scammed when you're 80 years old. You're going to get scammed into oblivion. You could have $50 million of savings when you're 80 years old. They're going to be able to scam you easily, bro, without any effort.
Donald Trump
it's going to be crazy. You're so gullible. Holy crap.
Thank you very much for that opening, Pisco.
I got a million bridges to sell, bro. All the way across Lake Michigan.
Can you guys hear me? Oh, okay, I got this. Okay, so I noticed in his opening statement, he didn't really talk about a lot of actual policies of the Biden administration. And the reason that he didn't do that is because there aren't really these great policies that you can point to talk about the successes of that administration. Under President Trump, under his first term, because we have not just the 20 days of him being in office or whatever amount of days he's been in office as of late, we have a whole first
And another thing to pay attention to, Pisco's going to rattle off a million facts, all right? And then AJW is going to be like, wow, these liberals are so dumb. They can't even answer questions. Wow. Then he'll proceed to not answer questions, and he'll try to win the vibe war. He's gonna try to have the vibes. Like, Pisco's so mad about this. He's so emotional. That's because he doesn't have anything to stand on. The smugness is really one of the big goals here.
Term, the median middle class income rose by $4,400. Now, the Heritage Foundation, which is very biased, will of course say it's $7,000. Some naysayers will say that it's
He's such a dork,
$2,200.
too.
But according to a CBS
What is
report,
this leather
which was trying to
jacket?
ding him because rich incomes went up faster, it was $4,400. That's everyday Americans
I don't
being
dress well.
improved due to the economic policies
I
of the
really
Trump
don't, but
administration.
still.
The Biden administration, people lost $2,200 in income when it's adjusted for inflation. Obviously, when we talk about what the policies are and if they're better, the question should be better for who, and I think the who should be the American people. And in my opinion, that stat alone is one example of the economic policies being better for the American people.
Look what he just did. He is constructing a narrative right now. Pisco tried laying out a thesis, okay? He's laying out a script. He's laying out what the narrative's going to be. He has a climax to his point. He's really constructing. He's constructing the environment in which the conversation is going to take place. The environment really matters. Like in Pokemon, if you're like fighting in the water and your like fire moves are weakened, you know? The environment matters. He's changing the environment now. He's making it rain, like that one move in Pokemon or whatever. Like, I forget what all the moves are. But Pisco isn't as concerned about how do we create the tone of the debate in a way that'll favor me. He's concerned about being right. This guy's a propagandist. They're all propagandists. So he's setting the stage right now for, you know, how he wants people to view it.
Now, as for Joe Biden, the idea that anybody's going to come up here and defend him when, especially you, who jumped on the bandwagon to force him off the ticket for another candidate, is ridiculous. Like, you didn't want this guy 3 months ago or however many months ago just before the election, and now you're turning around and trying to defend him, and you're throwing the same exact pre-election attacks against Trump. January 6th is what we heard about. The pardons of Trump's people. And by the way, I didn't support every pardon that Donald Trump issued. And yes, the Hunter Biden pardon is a bad pardon, but he also pardoned 2,500 other people that were supposedly nonviolent drug offenders. And included in these supposedly nonviolent drug offenders was a Adrian Peeler is a man who killed a state's witness who was 8 years old and his mother in order to prevent them from testifying against his brother, who was also a murderer. Biden pardoned him because some crappy left-wing organization said that he was a nonviolent drug offender because he was serving federal time for drugs, even though he had that conspiracy for murder on his state record. Adrian Peeler is so notorious in the state of Connecticut, he's the reason why they have a witness protection program. Biden set that man free. He will be out by July of this year, an unrepentant double murderer. I know that some of the January 6th defendants are bad guys. I would not have pardoned them. Trump had the sense to commute some of their sentences, which does not erase their felony conviction. But this guy was a double murderer, absolutely terrible. And yeah, there's a lot of bad pardons under the Biden administration I can get into. But again, in terms of policies, the Trump administration was a deregulatory administration, which frees up the economy for people to engage, make choices for themselves. And we saw the results in that in his first term. As far as his second term, he's dinging him for prices not coming down in under a month. I mean, this is a guy who denied, deflected, went along with the Democratic narrative that inflation was transitory, was telling you that you were wrong because you felt like the economy was getting worse under Biden, which, by the way, now they've come out and admit that the American people were right and the supposed data was wrong. This was in Politico, one of Clinton's comptrollers. So yeah, this guy, Biden, again, he was so bad, they literally threw him off the ticket in a nearly unprecedented move. And Donald Trump was so good that after experiencing Biden, people voted for him back into office. They were like, you know what? We're going to get back with our ex-girlfriend. That's Donald Trump. He cooks a little bit better. And that's where we're at right now.
Thank you very much for that opening as well.
You see how he's like smiling, trying to make the vibes all good. He's not really responding directly to the points. He's just kind of doing like both sides, haha. Well, geez, that's a little silly. Hee hee, haha. Trump good, haha. Trump good. Biden bad, hee hee. Like he's literally just like trying to get the vibe
right
on
into
it.
the open dialogue, gentlemen. The floor is all yours.
Will you condemn the corrupt quid pro quo of Mayor Adams and the Trump Justice Department on the stage, yes or no?
So like this also comes out super hard, super aggressive. Okay, remember the vibe here, he still has a dumb look on his face, right? Super dumb look on his face. You'd probably be more like, I'm trying to think even the tone that you say that in. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm not a
Yes
fan.
or no?
I'm not a fan of Mayor Eric Adams. I never supported Mayor Eric Adams. I know this is your big get, like that
Will you
tweeted
condemn
out
it?
about. Let me answer the question.
Yeah.
So I would have pursued the corruption charges against Mayor Eric Adams 100%. I do think he's guilty, but unfortunately, I read some of the rationale for postponing this past the election, and even though you're trying to frame it as a corrupt quid pro quo, it turns out that there's a little bit of an issue in that the state's attorney, Damian Williams, is actually using this, or was supposedly
State's
using
attorney?
this. The district attorney for the Southern District of New York was actually using the Adams prosecution, which his office filed, as a way to run for mayor of New York City. So this is the
Bullshit
concerns
propaganda
about,
by that administration. Do you condemn it
I mean,
or not? Do you condemn it?
You can
Do you
go-
condemn it?
You can go to Damian.
Do you condemn the
You
quid
can go
pro
to
quo?
DamianWilliamsOfficial.com and see his very much not a campaign website.
Are you
wink,
willing to
wink.
condemn?
And this is the
And now you see Pisco keeps saying, "Do you condemn him?" And AJW, like I said before, he's setting the narrative right now. He's not even responding. He's just setting up an entire grand narrative. He's setting all these different pieces in place that can shift the storytelling he's doing, to avoid answering the question. And Pisco now is looking like, AJW is looking all slimy, but people like that. They like him because he seems aloof. Like, oh yeah, this is so dumb. Like, here's the actual situation. Like, Pisco didn't even look into it, and Pisco's like really tight. And he's like, "Do you condemn it? Do you condemn it? Do you condemn it? Do you condemn it? Do you condemn it?" Like,
problem. So yeah, I definitely disagree with them postponing
Do you
it for Eric
condemn it?
Adams.
yeah, Pisco did manhandle him, but I'm just thinking about like in the American system today, like AJW is winning the debate in today's America, which sucks because Pisco's much smarter and on point, and I think he did great during this. But AJW is just like a sly asshole.
As corrupt.
Well, I don't believe it's corrupt.
You don't believe it's corrupt? Okay, so you don't
Okay.
think that they were doing it in exchange for immigration policy? Is that
I
right?
don't think so. No.
You believe?
I think
you
they're
believe
trying to make it
a stooge of the
I think they're
administration.
trying to make something seem. I think they're doing something that I
stooge of
hate
the
in American
administration.
politics, which they found this guy who's going to run for mayor against Mayor Eric Adams was one of the architects of this prosecution. I think the case is solid, good, and should be pursued. But
at
in
how
order
insane this
to
is.
avoid the perception
yeah.
of this being political and biased, they're going to postpone it because they have not dismissed the
Look
charges
at the
completely.
lengths that they'll go through to defend this corrupt administration. We have a corrupt Democratic politician. He acknowledges that he's corrupt, and he.
Well, it's alleged. He's not convicted.
You don't think Mayor Adams is corrupt?
Oh no, I definitely do.
Okay, so
but that's not.
You
a
agree that
conviction.
Mayor Adams is corrupt? That's correct, right?
Yeah, I think he is, but he's not
100%.
convicted.
Yeah. So we both agree that he's fucking corrupt. And and you're saying that when the Justice Department comes out and says, "Hey, we're doing this so he plays ball with us on immigration," you're saying you don't believe them.
That's not exactly what they said.
Give me a fucking break.
In the memo.
So Tom Hall.
I'm sorry, but I just know how it comes off. You have to just appeal to like vague generalities to support your point. Like, for example, right now you could be like, so Eric Adams and Tom Homan have not talked at all publicly for a while. They've been at odds. Okay. Now when this news breaks, they're on Fox and Friends, chilling, talking about how they have this new collaboration, talking about some deal they struck. Do you think this is all just coincidence? Okay, you think it's all coincidence that these corruption charges, which included Eric Adams stealing New York taxpayer dollars, you think it's a coincidence that they're dropping these charges? All the prosecutors being asked to actually file the motion are resigning. Prosecutors that clerked with Roberts and like Scalia or whoever, they're resigning. You think it's all just a big coincidence, right? A big coincidence. You don't think there's actually something here. Like if you just like calmly and give air to your sentences instead of pounding it in, you don't think it's corrupt. This is a mess. This is a mess. This is really just a tragedy right now. This is a tragedy. The mood in the room is not set for that yet. And it's really hard too, because like I get like that, definitely the issues that I really care about. So Pisco being so familiar with law is so hard. They're rage baiters though. They're rage baiters. Look at his face. They're rage baiters. That's what he doesn't care about being right. He cares about looking like a smug asshole, like I said.
Coleman comes on with him on Fox News. And
Oh, there you go. There you go. Okay. Look at that. I predicted. See, whenever I bring up Pisco not saying something, he brings it up right away.
and says we have an agreement. And by the way, the acting U.S. attorney, not a fucking district attorney, the acting U.S. attorney of the Southern District of New York said this was a quid pro quo. She points to the
US
conversation.
attorney, quid pro quo, yeah.
It's not even denied that at least one of the major rationales is for immigration policy. And you're sitting.
But right now he's doing like Rap God. I know people that can't listen to even like Kendrick Lamar rap without being like, I need to listen to this 50 times with lyrics in front of me to understand this. He's not giving each point enough time to float. like you have to have people come to the conclusion in their own brains, not like you're forcing it to them. So you bring up the show very, very quickly and transition to the attorney.
U.S. Attorney of the Southern District of New York.
In the memo.
So Tom Hallman comes on with him on Fox News and says, we have an agreement. And
and right now you do storytelling for the audience too, because not everyone in the audience is going to be watching. I mean, here you might be watching, political stuff 24/7, but you can say Tom Homan, Eric Adams appeared today on Fox and Friends. This is brand new because they haven't liked each other before, and now all of a sudden when this news breaks, they're talking about some private deal they struck, some backroom corrupt deal, talking about Eric Adams needing to reach his end of the bargain. And if he doesn't, they're going to be at his door knocking, asking for the return. Like you give space to that one point first, okay? Give space to that one really strong rhetorical point where even if you don't know anything about politics, that sounds like a great point. Like, why are they on TV for the first time? A Democrat and this like super far right immigration guy, they're appearing on TV talking about a backroom deal. Like that could get people's brains thinking and people can come to their own conclusions first. And then after AJW is like, make him answer that point first. Why were they on Fox and Friends? I don't know. I guess they're going to do some TV appearances. And by the way, like you're wasting, it's like you're wasting a lot of shots here that are not damaging them. It's like in Call of Duty, like someone's already done, like you're in TDM, you already got someone with 7 bullets, all right? And you shoot too much, so you don't have enough to like go for the other point. Like you have to save some of this in the chamber. These are your great rhetorical points. These are your strongest rhetorical points here. And Pisco's just dumping the entire magazine in seconds right now.
By the way, the acting U.S. attorney, not a fucking.
Yeah, he does not let it.
Corrupt.
He does not let the point live at all. He just like bulldozes through it and rushes to the next one.
And and you're saying that when the Justice Department comes out and says, "Hey, we're doing this so he plays ball with us on immigration," you're saying you don't believe them.
That's not exactly what they said.
Give me a fucking break.
In the memo.
So Tom Hallman comes on with him on Fox News and says, "We have an agreement."
Contextualizing.
And by the way, the acting U.S. attorney, not a fucking district attorney, the acting U.S. attorney of the Southern District of New York said this was a quid pro quo. She points to the conversation. It's not even denied that at least one of the major rationales is for immigration policy. And you're sitting here and you're accepting some bullshit post hoc narrative about a website from the U.S. attorney at the time who had no influence on this investigation whatsoever, and you have no evidence of that, and you're willing to say that this exchange is not corrupt.
I mean, he had no influence except for the fact that he's campaigning and showing himself at the press conference where they're announcing the indictments. But okay.
Now we're debating in a realm of this like random website. I don't know about this either, by the way. I don't know about this. So now AJW moved it away from the strong rhetorical points Pisco had. So the attorney bring up her party leanings. So even someone that's like a Trump wasn't one of them someone Trump that Trump appointed like 3 weeks ago that resigned? Like didn't she get appointed? She was like a Roberts clerk that resigned 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks. So you have that punch. You have the Fox News punch. Is Pisco going to go back to it, or did he just like drain that entire like rhetorical line and just like give up on it since AJW distracted him?
Just to be clear, so you're buying the narrative that this entire thing was a witch hunt.
No, I didn't say it was a witch hunt.
Was it?
I said
a
the
corrupt
exact
investigation?
opposite.
Was it?
I said the exact opposite.
Was it a corrupt investigation or not?
Is English not your first
language? Was it a
language?
corrupt investigation or not?
I don't think it was a corrupt investigation. I think it is legit to go after Mayor Eric Adams. I disagree with the Trump administration.
It was
on
not
this.
a corrupt investigation. It was not a corrupt investigation of a corrupt mayor who he thinks is guilty, and he's okay with a not corrupt investigation with Donald Trump. Why would you stop that investigation? Why would you stop that?
Well, they're worried about an appearance of corruption, which is what they're concerned about.
And you don't think that the appearance of corruption, of writing in your fucking memo that, hey, we want you to play ball on immigration.
That's not what it said in the memo.
What about the appearance of a political statement on that? How about every Southern District of New York U.S. Attorney in like the past, I don't know how many years, coming out and condemning it? How about the Friday night massacre we had there? You have nothing to say for that. You think that that's above board? You think it's not corrupt to drop this investigation? And by the way, they didn't drop it permanently. They dropped it temporarily. So if this is all the appearance of political bias, that's what he's worried about, why not drop it permanently? Why not pardon him if that's the reason? The reason why they kept it open and it's not done permanently.
Yeah, he's still talking. I was at 1.1 speed, but he's still talking fast and regular speed. He is talking really. He is going for it. He is going for it.
With prejudice is because they want to hold it over his head because they might indict him after, as they state. After the election, we might still indict you. They said, by the way, we didn't even look at the facts or law in this case in their own memo. And he's sitting here and telling you that's not fucking corrupt. That's the lengths, and just so you know why this
Make sure you drop a like on the stream, hit subscribe. Thank you for watching. We're watching a debate versus from Pisco versus AJW, liberal versus a conservative. They're debating Biden versus Trump, liberal versus conservative, dude. Crazy debate, and we are reviewing it. Thank you for joining me.
This is relevant. That's the lengths people like this will go to defend the obvious, blatant corruption by the Trump administration.
Again, you're just asserting that it's corruption and monologuing about it. It could be corruption. It could be a problem. Again, I think Eric Adams is corrupt. I would have pursued the case. I understand the rationale that one of the guys who's the head of the Southern District of New York, he's the one that is running for mayor or allegedly going to run for mayor against Mayor Eric Adams. He sets up a campaign website for cases that he has influence on, including the Adams case. Again, it's called, what's this guy's first name? DamianWilliamsOfficial.com. Anybody could look it up for himself. So I have an issue where you have an appearance of corruption from the Southern District of New York. I don't think that's legitimate. I would pursue the case, but you're asserting that it's a quid pro quo because they're saying they'll examine it after the election.
You're naive. You buy the regime's propaganda. So what they're doing, right? Like if you're a prosecutor, one thing that prosecutors do is run for elected office. And one thing they do is like, hey, look at all this crime we stopped. That doesn't mean that just because I'm showcasing the crimes I stopped, just like, by the way, you had an issue with Alvin Bragg listing the different things that he's done as a public servant. Sorry, dude, that's fucking campaigning. By the way, if Trump ran for office, he would also campaign on going after people and having big cases. That's just how our system works. And you're acting like that's fucking corruption because you're a stooge. You're a stooge of the regime. And we can move on from it, but just look at what
stooge of the regime.
I mean, you just said it's not a corrupt investigation. You think he's guilty.
I think
and because there's a fucking
website.
Because there's a website.
I think
he should drop the case, but only temporarily.
I think Mayor Eric Adams is corrupt. The website is just supporting evidence that the guy from the Southern District of New York is going to run for mayor of the city of New York. So yeah,
why do you discount the acting U.S. attorney? Why do you discount the line prosecutors?
I didn't say any of that. I said it looks like this guy's running for this position. So yeah, it's weird when your office indicts a guy before an election for a position that you intend to run for.
On balance, if you had to pick right now between this whole exchange being corrupt or not corrupt, on balance, would you say it's corrupt or not corrupt?
Which component?
Given the evidence that you've seen of the memo of the acting U.S. attorney.
He's just gonna say he doesn't know if it's corrupt or not. I guarantee you.
The memo of the line prosecutor who said
he doesn't know. He can see the rationale.
Find someone from the integrity office to file the motion, and they have to put them all in a room and say, one of you motherfuckers is signing this, because if you don't, you're all fired. And you're saying on balance that you're indifferent between the outcomes? That if this wasn't fucking Joe Biden and the IRS whistleblowers, he wouldn't be screaming from the fucking ledges saying, holy shit, look at this corruption. That we saw this shit, by the way. Every second, Joe Biden, there's some insider that says he whispered that he's upset with Merrick Garland, and these guys are screaming from the rooftops, interference, interference, interference. It's blatant in your face. You have no answer for it, and we can move on. But
I've already answered it.
All right, cool. So what about gutting all the agencies? So these are statutorily enacted.
Oh, he's going way too quick. He's going way too quick. I have it on 1.1 speed, but he's going way too quick, bro. Normal speed, let's see.
Agencies. The CFPB, just for an example, they say, we're going to delete it. Elon Musk's whim, a billionaire oligarch. You're okay with usurping the legislative authority. Is that right? They can put all their funding down to one on the president's unilateral discretion. Is that right?
So Elon Musk said that he wanted to delete the CFPB. They haven't done that yet. Again, they're examining it. They're auditing it. I remember somebody named Donald Trump who ran for president, and he said that they're going to set up this Department of Government Efficiency.
He's going way
prior
too
to him
quick.
taking office. People like you were like, this is a joke agency. It's not real. Nothing to worry about. This isn't going to do anything. And now, because the talking points have changed, it's President Elon Musk. Oh no, he's going after all this different spending and whatnot.
You're mischaracterizing what I said before. I've always said that Elon Musk is a dangerous influence on the president. You can look at my statements. You're just assuming shit. But just to be a trillion% clear, you think it would be acceptable if they reduce, for example, the CFPB funding to $1, or they fire all the employees in that agency because
So the CFPB gets its funding from the Federal Reserve rather than from congressional appropriations, which is an issue onto itself. Like, that's an agency that essentially exists in a fourth branch of government.
If the CFPB, it's everyone fired, they close their offices and they use them for immigration detention, do you think that that's
use the offices for immigration detention?
So if it's you can fight the hypothetical.
Yeah, you can call in if you want. Drop a like on the stream. You can call in. Call the phone number if you really want to call in. You can call in. If you have an actual topic, call in. Okay, if you have an actual good, concise topic you want to talk about, Okay, you can call in. Call the number up there, 717-693-7128.
Like they're going to put them in the
They,
Federal
they've
Reserve?
stated they've stated their desire to end the CFPB, to end the Department of Education.
You can have
If this- if
you
this
can
is
have a
problem-
desire to end the Republicans have been running on ending
Yes.
the Department of Education
And do you think
since
the president?
the 1980s.
Do you think the president has the unilateral?
No,
authority
he doesn't have
to
the
do it?
unilateral authority to get rid of the Department of Education.
So why are they? Why are they, for example, saying that they're going to do it? Why are they saying that we're going to delete it?
Cool.
Call.
Hello, what's up?
Hey, Joel, what's up, man?
Nothing much. How about yourself?
Not a lot. I just I find talking with people that are complete opposite of me ideologically interesting.
Nice.
Yeah. So I was watching your stream. So you're a big Republican side hater, huh?
No, I hate things they do right now. Republicans right now are not Republicans or conservatives. Trump is a totally different thing.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really argue with that. I guess you'd have to define all those things, Republicans, Democrats, and what Trump is. I think it has swung like left and right really far, both sides. You know, it's hard to define even what a Democrat or a Republican is anymore, because if you look at initially, even from like, well, not initially, even from something like if you looked at a Republican in the 60s or a Democrat in that time period, how different they are nowadays. Hard to pinpoint like what the difference between the two are.
Sure.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do have a question about, you said, I heard you say this earlier, and you said that Trump is the most divisive president since Andrew Jackson.
Yeah.
Is that, you think that there's no presidents between Trump and Andrew Jackson that are as divisive as those two?
I don't know. Those are the two closest historical examples as far as like executive overreach for the president.
Was is Jackson, you're talking about like the natives, like what he did with the Native Americans? Is that what
Yeah,
you're
when he
overreaching?
ignored checks and balances, he overrided the judge and continued his like ethnic cleansing or whatever.
Yeah, I don't think it was ethnic cleansing at all, but I think that back then, like you're familiar with federalism, right?
Mm-hmm.
So back in those days, federalism was kind of the law of the land. Before, and the federal government had almost no power back then, in comparison and relative to the federalist states. So, like at that time, I think it was the Cherokee or something. I haven't read up on this very much lately, but the Cherokee were a tribe down there in the South. They had a lot of contention with like Georgian Southerners and Mississippi and things like that, and it was kind of like either take the native side or the American side. And Jackson took the American side, the citizen side, over the native tribe side, because it was like almost coming to blows, like war over that. So to me,
well, the judge determined that there was not a right to have the president follow through with the ethnic cleansing, which is the literal definition of what they did. But it's okay. I don't care.
How did they cleanse them ethnically? I don't understand that. They asked
Because
them
they
to
chose
relocate and they
specific.
declined.
Yeah, because they forced a group to leave. That's a part of a certain ethnic group that had to leave their tribes.
Well, I think it was 18. I wish I could remember the dates exactly, but I've read a lot about Andrew Jackson. I'm a big fan of his, actually. Well, I'm just saying that you said he ignored the judge, but like there's certain times where, I mean, you can look back in a million different presidents' history where they ignored judges, they did executive actions that were contrary to the Constitution that you would probably champion, like Louisiana Purchase, for example, by Jefferson was a major overreach, and he admitted that that was against the Constitution, but obviously that was a positive for the nation. Saying that a judge said no doesn't really matter historically at all. But he asked them to relocate. They relocated. The Cherokee Nation actually expanded after that. Their population grew, so ethnic cleansing is kind of
They still
wild
cleansed.
term
I
to
did not
use.
say genocide. I said ethnic cleansing. They removed an ethnic group from an area. They ignored the order from the courts that said they had no right to take the land, and they forced people to move.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that this was great, wonderful. Jackson moved a tribe out of the way, but Jackson was
So out of the 15,000 Native Americans forcibly removed, around 6,000 died
as a direct result
in
of the
Cherokee.
move.
Yep, and in Cherokee, Muskegee, 5,000 died out of 20,000 removed. Choctaw,
right about those with Cherokee.
6,000 died out of 15,000. And Seminoles, they don't have exact numbers on that on the history.com website.
Well,
But yeah,
Seminoles
out
never
of
really moved out of Florida.
around
Seminoles
20%
stayed
of the
in
people,
Florida.
around 20-25% of the people died as a direct result of the Trail of Tears. That's why it's considered like a human atrocity.
Well, I know what the Trail of Tears is, and I know it's a terrible thing. I'm just saying that.
Okay,
You
what did you
said
like about
ethnic
Andrew
cleansing. They
Jackson?
did. I love that he was a populist. He cared about the country deeply as far as
What did he
individual
do?
rights.
What's his policy that you liked?
I really liked. I liked the expansionism of him during that time. So Andrew Jackson was well, there's a lot of reasons why I like him. He was a total civil servant. His entire life was based on the military. He was obviously the president. He was in Congress, served in both houses, I think.
I can name a lot of people that fit under that. I could probably find a lot of people that fit under that definition.
Yeah, but he was also he was an actual war veteran that served as president. There's only you can mention before 1865. You can mention maybe 8 or 9, but after that, very rare. He was, and if I've read his writings, and it was clear that he cared about the individuality of each citizen.
Well,
if you
other
read
than
about,
the Indians, other than the Native Americans, I mean.
Well,
Eisenhower
if you're
too.
an American citizen, if you see, this is what you have to do. You have to put yourself. You kind of have to look at it from a perspective of the people of the time. So it's the same thing with Texas. Everybody's always talking about how terrible we were to the Mexicans in Texas, and we stole Texas, and people don't know the history of that. So there's a lot of nuance there that you would think, oh, Americans stole Texas and we just kicked Mexico's ass and we stole land from them, not knowing that Mexico literally offered us to come there to be a buffer between us and the Indians that were killing Mexicans in Texas and Oklahoma for 200 years. But so there's a lot of nuance. So if you look at what happened in Georgia between the Cherokee specifically, I don't think Seminoles and the Muskegee Indians had anything to do with this because I think they were farther south. But if you look at what was going on in Georgia, the Georgian citizens of the United States and the Cherokee Indians, like I said, it was not a live side by side peaceful relationship. It was Americans having their culture, Native Americans having theirs, and a lot of tension between those two. Like I said, almost coming to blows in times it did. People were dying. And Jackson took the American citizen side over the Native Americans, which even today would happen, obviously. And again, the Cherokee never really left Georgia. The Seminoles are still in Florida to this day. So there was no cleansing of that land. It's dramatic words that I don't think apply.
It's not dramatic words, and regardless, there was no issues with natives in the area. They just wanted the land. But can we talk about
There was
something
no
more
issues with the
modern?
natives in the South. In the
Yeah,
early
in Georgia,
1800s,
they
there
wanted
was
the land. They
no
wanted the
issue.
expansionism. They forced the conflict to try and get Native Americans out of there to make them leave, and they had to do it forcefully, even after the court ruled that Georgia had no jurisdiction to do so. So they just ignored the courts for that purpose. It
They
led
had to
to the mass
manufacture a
slaughter.
conflict with the Cherokee.
They weren't. I'm not saying they manufactured a conflict. I'm saying they pushed the conflict because they wanted more land. They were expansionists, like you said. That causes war and conflict if you're expansionist.
Yeah.
Of course.
But
Okay. What about modern day political topics?
What area are you talking about?
I don't know. What did you call in for?
Well, I was just disagreeing with you on Andrew Jackson. Modern day, I'm not I hate Elon Musk. I think you guys got that one right, but you guys hate him by default because he's for Trump. But
No, I hate him because he's the richest man in the world that's like purging our government agencies of our precious information and intelligence, and he works with the Communist Party of China, and he's a huge conflict of interest, and I don't like wealthy people controlling the country directly.
I don't think he's controlling anything. I think he's an idiot personally, but
You think he's the
I
richest
think
man of
that-
all time, but he's an idiot.
I think that he's the richest man of all time because has like one of the most tangible mindsets ever. So he's very, very good at certain things. But I think that he's a liar. I think that he's socially the most idiotic person I've ever seen in my life. I think that I just don't like him at all. I'm not an EV guy or quote renewable energy. I don't, all that stuff's nonsense. And he speaks in like these broad. He says these incredibly.
Yeah, that's what
stupid
they all
things.
do. That's what Trump does too. They speak broadly. They never talk about specifics of anything. They just propagandize.
Yeah, I'm just not a big Elon guy at all. But
Okay.
never have been. But Trump to me isn't. He's not trying to kill democracy. That's not a goal of his. I don't think. You know what I mean? My brother could try to kill democracy and keep that a secret from me, but it's just I don't agree that that's his goal.
It's Elon Musk's goal and Peter Thiel and JD Vance's. I don't think Trump cares about anything. He's a puppet.
I don't think JD Vance is that sophisticated.
Dude, he's literally one of the most sophisticated politicians of all time. He makes extreme calculated moves. He was paid his entire life by billionaire tech bros, and he's well trained in a propaganda factory essentially for this current position. He's one of the most sophisticated we possibly can have. He switched positions like 50 times in the past 10 years just for political power.
No, I think that he's a good politician. I'm just saying that I don't think he's this deep right, unbelievably unique person within
He
the
wrote the
Republican
forward
Party.
to he wrote the forward to a book calling all the left unhumans that need to be exterminated from society. And he's friends with Peter Thiel, who believes that we need a full collapse
What
of
book is
democracy. It's Jack Pasebiak. Something about unhumans. I forget the exact title.
I'd have to see that shit. That's a political dagger. Why is that not on the front page of every newspaper?
Because the news media doesn't care that much about hurting Trump. They don't really care. They make money from him.
MSNBC doesn't care about hurting Trump.
I mean, they don't really care that much.
They pushed the Russia investigation for 9 years.
The Russian
They don't
investigation
care.
was proven that Russia did influence the election. It was not proven that there was collusion, though, between the campaign and Russia. But it was proven that they
I know, but
that they
why
did try to
would
influence
they
the
push
election.
that? They pushed.
Yeah,
they
it's not
pushed the
pushing
Steele
something. It's
dossier.
something that was true. It's something that was true. And
They
right now,
pushed-
Trump is giving
they
up
pushed the
concessions
Steele
to Russia
dossier.
like crazy right now.
Was the Steele dossier based on a good source? They pushed
I know
that
right now
for
that
about
Donald Trump
6
is giving
years.
all the preferential policies to Russia right now.
No, I'm answering my question. They pushed the Steele dossier. That wasn't a good source. They pushed it for 4 years. I can go back. I can send you links to all the newspapers that pushed the Steele dossier. They talked about it for 4 years, but they wouldn't push.
You realize they
publish
did not say
Yeah.
that it was fake. They said that it was not proven completely.
The Steele dossier is bullshit, and you know it. That's crazy. to
Really,
say.
after Donald
That's
Trump
insane.
has Tucker Carlson in the White House, who's a paid Russian propagandist, like every other day.
Okay, I don't know what that has to do with the Steele dossier, but you're saying that
Because it's all
JD Vance
talking.
wrote the
It's talking
foreword to
about
it.
the cooperation between Trump and Russia collusion. It didn't even say there was no collusion. It just said there was not enough evidence. But it said 100% Russia is trying to make Trump win.
The point I'm making is you're saying that they wouldn't push the
And the
JD
Steele
Vance
dossier
call for
did
the
prove-
extermination. The Steele
The Steele
dossier
dossier
didn't prove anything. It was a fucking Reddit post.
it did prove that Russia hacked the DNC on behalf of Russia or on behalf of Trump to purposely benefit Trump. That was all verified. They're trying to help Trump.
The Steele dossier is about as verified as.
You're not making any
Dr.
points. You're just
Seuss
saying
book.
bullshit. You're just saying bullshit.
Yeah, I'm trying to make a point, and you keep.
No, you're not
cutting me
making
off and
points. I'm
saying
bringing up
that.
actual things in the Steele dossier that are actually real, but you're not responding to any of that. Do you think that Russia did try to help Trump win?
Listen. You're saying that they're ignoring the fact that J.D. Vance wrote the foreword to a book that calls for the extermination of all Democrats. And I said, why do they do that? Because they don't care. They don't want to push things that hate that about Trump. That's all the media does. That's my point.
It's not all the media does. They bought the inflation narrative. They bought every narrative that
Here.
Trump gave them. They don't care that much. They really don't care that much.
Here we go. Let's go to MSNBC headlines.
Unhumans: The Secret History of Communist Revolutions and How to Crush Them. I don't care. Oh my god. I can't talk to a more boring person. At least be entertaining, dude. Holy crap. Like, can someone make an argument without referring to a news agency? Can you have an independent brain or independent thought? Are you just a pathetic little baby boy that only can get opinions that you see on social media and Twitter? Hello?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing all right. How are you?
So, so a big thing that a lot of people, and I've been watching you for a minute, a lot of people are missing critical thinking. That's literally what the nation has been missing for years. Critical thinking. And that's it.
Yeah, it's emotional thinking. It goes to slogans and branding and what logos you trust the most. There's not really any critical analysis of what's really happening. It's really what people want to believe and they just go with it.
Well, it's the whole idea of, like, do we want a judgment from a pool of people that are diverse and inclusive? Well, no, I don't want to use inclusive. People get offended, and thin-skinned people on the right really don't like that word. But critical thinking, and that analyzing every bit of information that you can see, not just listening to one person wherever they're at. It's listening to a group of people on one issue, and then make your decision on that one issue, and then move forward to everything else. This is how most people don't want to live their life. They get past high school, and they shut down. They say, oh, learning, understanding, I got things to do. I got to have a family because I've been told so by my parents and people behind me that went through it, that now our economic and political systems have changed past that point that they don't understand. It's an ever-evolving thing, and critical thinking has been lost and escaped from the entire conversation.
Well, it's difficult. It's difficult to have complex thoughts, and the moment they get close to a complex thought, their brain shuts off and they get uncomfortable and they don't want to deal with it. So they take whatever's easy.
We also, and the easy thing also, one of the very few probably bipartisan people you'll ever meet, it doesn't matter left or right. Critical thinking, once we get past high school or college, whatever we decide to complete, that's it. And that's what we know in stone in ourselves. No, learning is a lifelong experience.
You lose it too. So if you barely pass high school when you're 18, if you're 56 now, then your literacy rate is probably like a fourth grade level. I'm just saying you lose it too if you don't update it, if you don't refine it, if you don't train yourself. If you just leave high school and never read a book again, then you're going to lose your literacy that you barely even had to begin with.
Yeah, 100%. Like it's muscle memory, function, form. Like, okay, you go to work, you don't do the same thing all the time, and then now you get put on, say, a new machine or a new thing or a new activity you have to do. Guess what? That muscle memory for the prior job is gone now. So you get to now learn something else. So if you don't practice that prior knowledge that you had, you're going to lose that while you're learning this new stuff. So it's education. Like, they want to get rid of the educational department, which is the worst idea that could ever be thought of.
It just hurts poor kids.
No, not even poor kids. It's just kids even in richer areas that are in a minority faction. Like, people don't understand the whole idea of gerrymandering. Like, there's, oh God, so many words that people need to learn. But you learn that in college. So a lot of people that tend not to go to college, even though we were told, and that was the biggest boomer dupe that millennials and further generations get to deal with, is the idea of college now. College, I have loans that are going to be hard to pay off because if I was told to go to college and something will be there for you. And that was a lie for millions of Americans. And that's the problem, is everybody's worried about the left versus right, instead of trying to end up figuring out how to get to the center and understanding we need to work together because we're in one country.
I don't care about the center at all.
No, you have to, though. You have to care
No,
about
I really.
the center.
But
because
what does the center
okay,
mean?
okay,
Like,
how
right
many,
now, the
how many
center in
people,
America is far right. Like the center is gonna be really far right because the current administration is like extremely far right.
well, okay, understand what the center is, though. You got to really, okay, how many people are in America?
340 million,
330,
something like that.
340 million, roughly? Yeah. I'm not saying like exact numbers. I don't care about that. I'm talking about actual factual understanding. So 300, we'll round up even above that, 350 million people in America. How many people in the world?
What are you saying?
Well, how many people are in the world?
A lot.
Well, roughly 8 million, right? So 330 million or 340, 50 million people versus 7 billion. Fudge on numbers, whatever. Doesn't matter. We need to be centered because we need to care about what's happening here, but also what we're doing on the global stage. And what's happening right now is we're looking like a bunch of fucking caveman morons is what's happening. And that's what critical thinking let go away.
Well, the center, I don't care about the center at all. I care about having a shared reality and being able to
What
actually
side?
talk about what we need.
Well, exactly. Then you care about the center.
No,
If
I
you
don't care about the center.
reality.
Because in terms of politics, I don't
Okay,
care about
are
the
you
center.
are
It's
you
like
left
the
or right?
centrists. I'm more on the left,
Okay,
but I
well-
also base my ideas off of like factual information. If I talk to a conservative on my show, they don't know many facts about the world.
Okay, so if you want to live on factual information, you'd be in the center.
Yeah, but
that's
like
where
I am
facts
on the
live,
I'm on
is
the
in the
political
center.
left. The Overton window is based on what people believe, not
Well,
what's correct.
politically, I don't care about politically. I'm talking about you as a human. Do you care about us surviving?
Well, you can
Do you
know
care
your
about
you should know you're biased. You should know how to find information that's decent. You should have a reason for why you believe things. You should have a way to process information and to rationalize it, and so you could interpret information from others, and you can work together to come to solid conclusions. You could go through that entire process, whether you're left or right, whether you have different political opinions, and your opinions are going to inherently be more pro freedom if you're able to do all those processes.
You know, the interesting thing is, I thought you would have been okay with the whole education and trying to find that whole divide, but you don't understand that whole divide is in the center. We need to figure out how to work with each other. It's not left
I just
or
said
right
that. I literally just
at
said
all.
that. I just said the exact same thing you just said.
Are you sure? Okay,
I literally
repeat it
just
then.
said that we.
Go ahead.
I just said we all need to understand a basic fact we can agree on, a basis of reality. We all need to go through processes for why we understand things, not just saying we understand it, but why do we understand it? Go through that mental process, and then we can both interact with each other to come to a solution that's better for everyone.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Have I asked what you're leaning? Well, okay. Man. Maybe it's
I
more
lean to
time.
the center.
People maybe need more time. Well, okay. You think everything on the left or right's policies are 100% correct?
In America today, the right-wing policies are
No,
100%
not America
wrong.
today. I'm just talking about. Do you think the left or the right are 100% correct? I don't care about today.
No. Okay, so
or at least
I don't think the
Yeah,
left is
today.
100% correct, but I know the right in America today is 99.9% wrong on the facts they go off of, just like the basic fact. Not even that they're wrong about their evaluations. Their evaluations can be smart, but they just believe just things that are not factual.
Well, yeah, but people also don't understand when Obama ended up, and I'm not either side, it doesn't matter. The whole deportation issue is very complicated, and people understand, or need to really understand, the more jobs that get deported, or people that get deported, is going to end up making prices here go up. Anybody remember when Obama ended up kicking out 3 million 3 million illegals, quote unquote, however they want to end up making it seem? But who could find strawberries at that point? Or how much did you have to pay for it?
Well, we're
there's
pulling back our
the
foreign
bigger.
aid too. Americans don't know how the entire globe affects us. We think we just live in this little.
Oh yeah,
utopia.
no, soft power. They don't most, or at least most of the people. And I'm not trying to disparage anybody by any means. We're all Americans and humans, period. And if we want to really go back as far as who owns this fucking land, sorry for cursing and bleep it if you need to. But either way, who owns this land? We all came through as one group of people over the Bering Land Bridge which came to the Northwest states, as we call them now, but people filtered into this area. We all decided to then eventually come over to this area because of somebody decided to say we're going to try to find a new land or whatever bullshit. History is whatever they decided to make it. And like I say, critical thinking is lost. So whatever, we're all human. Give a shit about color. We all have DNA of humans. So either way, we get rid of the humans that are helping us take care of the things that the other better quote unquote humans that are saying these other need to leave. It's not going to make prices better. It's going to make it fucking shitty. Yeah, either way. I think, yeah. As far as it goes, the American people need to really understand education is super important. Understanding what you're being told is super important, and how many people / one source are you hearing it from is super important.
I don't think Americans have basic human decency today, so we have to get there first, probably.
Well, basic human decency depends. It's the getting rid of the whole alpha male ideal of I'm better than you, and if you're going to talk back to me, I'm going to beat you up shit. That needs to go away. We need to really literally understand we're all just humans trying to fucking make it in this world. And when it comes down to shit, do you want a group of people that are banding with you, or just a small faction of people that are banding against everybody else?
But they want to be alone. They see it as zero sum, so they don't care about supporting other people because they don't think it's going to affect them. They just want to be isolated.
Well, no, that's the whole thing. Yeah.
I'm going to take a little sleepy sleep. I appreciate you calling in.
No big deal, bud. I
Yeah, I'm
appreciate it.
getting
It's like
exhausted.
being able to at least educate maybe some people to look at more than what they're seeing on their fucking the internet's bullshit and fucked anyway, but their Twitter feed that they're hearing from fucking, I don't care if it's Elon Musk or Jimmy John Bob Thornton down the fucking street that you're hearing the information from. Do the critical thinking. Look at what a mass majority of the people that are around you that are looking for the good of the country. So, yeah.
I agree.
Either way, I appreciate it. I've been watching your stream for a while, and I'm sure you're fucking tired, bud. You have a good night. And
Thank you.
I might call in later. We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
Have
I'm
a good
trying to
night.
get people to think more. I appreciate it. Have a good night, man.
Well, yeah. Either way, you or us, everybody needs to think. It doesn't matter. It's a lifelong skill. Get used to it. 100%.
Yes, sir. All right, have a great night, man.
Have a good night.
Okay, I'm tired now. Okay. All right, I'm probably gonna. Yeah, I think it's sleepy time. I think it might be sleepy time, bro. The callers tonight are draining my energy. I Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for sticking with it. But the callers tonight, we had really good nights last night and the night before with callers. Really good luck. But the callers today have been painful. And it's gonna, just from an entertainment perspective and also just a conversation perspective, I cannot think of one coherent conversation I had tonight. Even with someone who like just wanted to agree on something, I cannot think of one coherent conversation. Even in a meme way. I cannot think of one conversation that was actually, yeah. Oh man, we're cooked, chat. We're cooked. I might just take a break, get some rest, get back at it tomorrow. We've been having a lot. You don't actually. We've been having. I streamed like 6 hours Friday night and like 6 hours last night. So I've been putting the hours in. So I might just rest up for tomorrow. You missed most of it. Last night was good. Last night was hilarious. It's just like, no, he's cool. They're all cool. It's just there's a certain pace of conversation that you need for these things. Thank you for joining. Thank you for stopping by. I'm a valiant warrior out here. If you have any extra money laying around, I am in financial peril. I'll put up the Cash App. Venmo and PayPal. If you enjoy the stream, if you have $5 laying around, $10 laying around, please consider dropping me something. Jolah Politics. I will be editing until like 4 p.m. Not 4 p.m. See how tired I am? I'll be editing until 4 a.m. tonight probably when I'm off stream. So please send me some McDonald's orders, some $5 McDonald's orders. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, Jolah Politics. There's also a link in the description. Coffee you could donate through. Really appreciate all the support. This weekend was fantastic. From Friday. Okay. On Friday, I had 20,000 subscribers. I had 20,300 subscribers on Friday. Ending right now on Sunday? Yeah, it's Monday now. Ending on Sunday, I have 21,700 subscribers. So in 3 days, gained 100 and I gotta take a break from this, dude. 3 days gained 1,200 subscribers. 1,200 subscribers. Okay, 1,200 subscribers. Really good weekend. Really good weekend. 1,200 subscribers. If I keep putting those numbers up, we'll be in a really good place. Yeah, dude, doing really good. The social blade's popping off. My current estimates for getting 100,000 subscribers. Let's see. Before Trump ends my program, because it's illegal to be a liberal. Let's see my future projections. Future projections. It says they predict that I'll get 100,000 subscribers in 13 months. Thank you for the support. Someone just cash apped. Thank you. Thank you, MP. They said $5. Sent $5, saying thank you for what you do. Thank you for supporting. Really helps. Yeah. I work my job, then I work DoorDash, and then I do this at night. So I am exhausted. I have been for a while. Hopefully, I'll be in a good position in a few weeks to chill more and be able to work on content. That's really restricting my channel is finances and being able to having to do other things. If I could put like more time into video editing and all that kind of stuff, it'd be so awesome. Expanding to different platforms. I want to diversify platforms because I am scared that I'm going to be booted off here eventually. I do have a Twitch called Jolah Talks. I have 300 followers on there. So Twitch is Jolah Talks. TikTok is Jolah Politics. And then I don't use Twitch, but yeah, Jolah Talks. TikTok is Jolah Politics. Whoa. I have a second YouTube channel called Jolah Talks as well. On Instagram, I have Jolah Talks Politics. I'm going to make a Facebook. Maybe make a little Substack. There's also a Patreon. Channel memberships are $3 a month. Channel memberships are $3 a month as well. Thank you for all the support. Really appreciate it. All right, guys. Have a good night. Get back at it tomorrow. See you in the Discord. Good night, good night, good night. Oh, crap. Thank you, thank you. See you. Thank you, thank you. See you guys. Good stream. I did not agree. I don't think it was a good stream, but we'll take it. We'll do it. We'll do it. We'll take it. All right, guys. Thank you. Either way, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Barbara. Good night. Good night, Kate. Thank you, mods. Thank you, mods. Thank you, channel members. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Have a good one. Thank you, PayPal, Venmo, donators, all that stuff. Woohoo! Haha, okay. Stream. Have a good night. Stream. What a stream. That was a stream, in fact. That definitely was a stream.